Hello and welcome to episode 189 of the Random Nintendo Podcast. I'm Jason.
And I'm Angel.
And we're calling this episode Putting Up a Fight because pretty much everything in it, now that I think about it, is about fighting in some way. We've got our thoughts on all the big news from the Final Smash Bros. Direct last week, with impressions of Switch's new free-to-play fighter, Brawlhalla, and we're going to examine just what it'll take for Nintendo to win the fight that is the 2018 holidays. That last one's actually particularly interesting because Nintendo has that pesky self-made goal of theirs of selling 20 million Switches this fiscal year, and they still need to sell a solid like 15 million-ish in order to pull that off. So we'll be looking at how they can do that, if they can do that, kind of through the lens of the latest financial report and the news briefing that came with it and comments from their president. Plus, we've also got impressions of a second game, Ultimate Chicken Horse.
There you go.
There we go. I got it. Rumors of a Zelda TV show. A lot more. So use the timestamps over at Nintendo.com on the blog post for this episode, or if you're in our YouTube video, they should be below in the description. But really, there's only one place we can start, and that's Super Smash Bros. With the Smash Bros. Direct. This is, I think, the last slice of Smash Bros. That we'll be getting before the game launches in, what, under a month?
We may have done this, but just so that I could stop thinking about it,
yeah.
I'm Angel. I don't remember saying I'm Angel.
You did.
I did, but this is just me.
Did.
Yeah, I don't remember for some reason.
I'm Jason, by the way. It's nice to meet you guys.
I've been cursed with amnesia, like the Pokemon move. So.
Happens to the best of us.
Yeah.
Or you just go randomly blurt out that you're confused every so often and hurt yourself in confusion?
I don't think that's how confusion works.
Well, you hurt yourself in confusion, but since you can't hurt yourself on air, I assume you just blurt it.
I'm confused.
If you're confused, you don't know what you're yelling out.
I guess I won't know until it happens.
That's true, because you'll be confused.
Yeah.
And thanks for listening, guys. We'll see you in two. So yeah, we do have Smash to talk about because this was, like I was trying to say, I think this is the final bit of Smash knowledge that will be dropped before the game comes out in about a month. And this presentation really did answer a lot of questions people had. I think the best way to sum it up is probably a tweet I saw, so I'm just going to kind of paraphrase it, which is that if you look at like the three separate Smash presentations, they kind of break down to the first one was like you see the front of the box on the shelf in a store and you get excited. And then the second presentation is like reading the back of the box. You get a bit more information, but it's still kind of vague. And it's like, ooh, that sounds cool. Oh, this guy's in it? That's neat. And then the third presentation, this direct that happened back on last week, this one was like reading through the entire instruction manual that comes in the box. Which, granted, I'm the type of weirdo who did that for every single game I bought when manuals were still a physical thing. Now, not so much. Outside, out of mind. I mean, if I don't open the game and have a manual directly in my face, which I don't when it's digital because it's buried in the corner, I'm not gonna do it. I don't know. I think when it went digital, it's that tactile feel of like reading a booklet and having the artwork placed and having that page and a half of legalese about seizure warnings. That's gone now.
I do like that sometimes they bother to put in like extra special art for the manual.
Nintendo made very nice manual.
Like the Super Mario All-Star manual comes to mind. It had some cool art of Mario like picking up shells and swimming and art you wouldn't normally see anywhere else.
64 had that too.
Yeah, like a lot of those games did, but now, like I always thought those were cooler. And then there's those other ones that were black and white, and it's like, the third-party ones. It's like these aren't in color. Like, they're just using stock images.
I'm just gonna say it because they no longer exist. Midway was the worst at manuals. So was Acclaim. I remember Crazy Taxi when Acclaim published it for Sega at GameCube's launch. The manual was like 2 pages, black and white.
I do remember some that were just text. I don't remember what game it was, but there were some really terrible, boring ones.
Yeah. But this direct, to sort of bring it back with the analogy here, this is kind of what it felt like a good manual. Like it was a lot of information. It was thrown at us all at once. Some of it felt kind of flat because it's just like excruciating amount of detail. I mean, it almost felt like, remember that Mario Kart 8 Direct that you always cite? Of course you remember it because you always cite it as like when Directs go too far, like too much information. I kind of at times felt like the amount of detail you're getting in this bordered on that. But
this one I felt like it didn't really give enough of anything.
Really?
I felt like
there's a lot of... I guess you're right. There's not a lot of detail on any one thing, but there's a lot of things.
Kind of like the one... Like it pretty much touched on every single mode, but it didn't really go into detail into most of them.
Except Spirits, which we'll get to.
Yeah, Spirits. But, that Mario Kart Direct, like I said, it left no stone unturned. But the equivalent of that for the Smash presentations, I feel it was the E3 one, where they're like, look at Olimar, look at his cracked look at his cracked like little spacesuit. Oh, and now it's not cracked.
To me, the E3 one, looking back at it, like to go back to that analogy, felt
God.
like it.
And then when they had to go like, Fox's Final Smash is faster. Look at him go. Falco's is slightly different, but it looks basically the same.
Yeah.
And then they show like Little Mac's like KO punch, like things like, oh look at how cool it is. It's all fast and different. And then they show Donkey Kong's immediately after, and then it looks identical to Little Mac's.
Right. I think the reason to me that this
and then they show Wolf, and it's like the same thing again.
I think the reason to me that this analogy worked, that the first presentation at E3 almost felt like the front of the box, is because they went into excruciating detail about the moves, but we knew nothing about what those moves would be used in. Like, it was like, whoa, look at the new Smash Bros. Here's what's different. Like, look at the front box. Here's some new thing you haven't seen. Oh, what? But now they're like, and here's every single mode, and here's all the options, and here's the brightness setting, and here's multiple languages. Ivysaur sounds different in French and then Spanish then English. It's like, yep. It was good to have. I appreciate it. And the fact
what they
that
didn't, you know what? Something I just realized they didn't touch on whatsoever. I wish they had mentioned what the default like setting is for your fights. Like, does it actually save them? I hope it does. I'm going to assume it does. Because one thing that we always have to do is change it from time to stop.
Yeah.
Every single time. Why can't it just save it? I don't mind if it's there automatically the first time, but by now he must know that no one by default just plays strictly time.
And what's funny is they did
highlight... Most people do time stock, time with for fun, but...
And what's funny is there's so many... In the presentation, they highlight so many quality of life improvements. Like, oh, now your computer-controlled assist trophy Pokemon, whatever, it will actually say your name over it so people know who originated from and stuff like that. And they went into all these details, like the multi-language thing again, and how easy it is to change. But they didn't address what you're saying at all, and that seems like it'd be the biggest quality of life.
They also didn't really go into like profile creation.
Right.
Like, a big thing about Smash Bros. Especially in tournaments, is just like, creating your name, adding your control settings and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like there has to be like a streamlined way, like, or at least take off. For the most part, everyone just turns off tap jump off. So that always takes like a whole like little rigmarole, like 2-3 minutes of them going through all the menus.
Until they have their profile, and then they can just select that in the future.
Yeah, but when you go into a tournament, everyone has to pretty much do it every time because, there's like hundreds of names on there, but you don't know which ones have tap jump off.
Well,
sometimes people do.
Through the power of Amiibo, you can tap to get your settings there. Isn't that a thing? Did I make that up?
No.
Wasn't that a thing?
No, because that would just bring up the Pokemon style fights.
Oh, right.
Which I guess are back.
They did say. I guess there's actually a lot they did say. Amiibo are back. You can still have Amiibo fighters. You can still... That's a thing. They're all still... Wait, are they back?
I don't know.
I think they said they were back. I know they're used for spirits, which again we'll get to. But I think they said Amiibo fighters will be back too.
Because I would have preferred if, like, at the very least, just give me an Amiibo that I could save my profile to. That way if I go to a tournament, I could literally just tap
like the old Wii remote setup.
Basically that. Because, I mean, that's what they do for Splatoon 2. Like, if you go over someone's house and you take your Splatoon Amiibo, it'll literally have your gear on your setup so that when you tap it in someone else's house, you just have your stuff.
Yeah.
Like, just do that. Just do that, Nintendo.
You got 3.5 weeks, Nintendo. Pull down the eShop presale, adjust the game, and put it back up, or patch it.
Also, they didn't elaborate on the team tag mode. Like...
Okay, you're right. There's a lot they didn't cover.
They also didn't elaborate on the tournament mode. We still don't know if it's online only like the previous one or if it's offline like the one in Brawl, which I feel was superior. Like, what the hell? Like, tell me, is it both?
You'll know. It's 3 weeks away. Breathe, Angel.
I mean, at least I know we have lobbies. That's kind of cool. It's like the lobby system in other games, so at least they got that right.
Yeah, I mean, we're getting bits and pieces. But yeah, let's actually break down what they did talk about. Because, I mean, to be fair, they covered, even though they didn't cover those things, they covered a lot. I mean, there's a lot to play, there's a lot to do, there's a lot to collect. So it's probably best if we just kind of work our way down the list. So
that makes sense.
The best place to start would probably be characters, because that's the thing everyone always talks about. So we now know that the final two included day one with the game will be Ken from Street Fighter and Incineroar of Pokemon. What do you think of those two?
That's cool.
Yeah, that's kind of my reaction. I'm like, that's great. All right.
I mean,
like, I don't really have an affinity to either of them. So.
I feel like I would have been more hyped for Decidueye, but that's only because I just like Decidueye more as a character design.
Right.
But he's in Pokken. I mean, that's cool. I mean, Incineroar is still cool. I like how he looks.
I mean, I think it's cool they added a wrestling character. Like, of all the things they have in Smash, they don't have a wrestler. And he's basically the wrestler Pokemon.
I mean, I like that Ken's in it. I thought I've always liked Ken.
And he moves a bit faster than Ryu.
Yeah, he's like a more stylish Ryu, so that's cool.
But yeah, I don't know. I mean, like, I saw him and I'm like, oh, that's good. Like, that's good, not great. Like, it's like, okay, whatever. Like, maybe...
They were definitely not the two you want to end
with.
I feel like they should have, like...
They weren't as exciting.
I mean... They should have ended with like King K. Rool or Simon
or even an Echo like Dark Samus. At least for me personally, would have been more exciting than an Echo like Ken.
I mean, I feel Ken as an Echo is more exciting.
Yeah, maybe.
I mean, I love Dark Samus. Like,
yeah.
I definitely, but I feel like kind of like how when we were saying like that, I didn't think Cloud was that great of an announcer, but you're saying like, well, in the grand scheme of things, like
you're right. In the grand scheme of things, Ken is more significant because he is Street Fighter.
Which is crazy that like Ryu, Capcom now has 3 representatives, and like Sega still just has the 1.
It's weird.
Like,
no, well, 1.5 because the Virtual Fighter Assist Trophy. Which, what a cool little thing they threw in there. That there's a Virtual Fighter, like, pixelated assist trophy.
And then you have Konami that came late in the game.
Or Vector.
Well, at the same time with, like, Snake. But now you have Snake, Simon, and, like...
the other
Richter.
one. Richter.
And you still have the Sonic.
Yeah.
It's like, why is Sonic getting shafted so hard?
Here's what I want to know.
At least give us Knuckles. I mean...
No, forget Knuckles. Give us II or II or whatever you call him from Super Monkey Ball.
We needed to have Sonic and Knuckles so we could have Sonic and Knuckles versus Knuckles and Knuckles.
Sonic and yeah. Well, they're not letting you do that. He's an assist trophy.
I know. We could have. You would have seen like the box I would have had Super Smash Brothers Ultimate and Knuckles. Yeah,
I mean they still could because the assist trophy. He's there.
Yeah, I firmly believe that it being an assist trophy or something being an assist trophy, like Shadow being one, doesn't mean they can't be a character later on. Just like,
so you think?
Like, I feel Chibi Robo had the chance. I mean, King K. Rool was a Mii Fighter costume,
but in a different Smash Bros.
Yeah, but I mean. Maybe. That was already like, yeah, we hear you. We're putting him in here. We're already working on the next one.
Yeah, I get that. I do think part of why these final 2 felt kind of meh is because, and I hate to say it, the rumors going into this.
I hate talking about rumors because they make people's expectations go way
through the roof. Yeah,
even though like I honestly like when they said like these are the final 2 fighters, like I wasn't disappointed because I always thought the other one was fake.
Oh, I knew it was fake, but here's the thing that the other one did.
But no matter what, like you're still gonna be thinking like, oh, it'd be cool if this is in there. So
exactly.
Then, so even whether you knew it was fake or not, you're just gonna be left with, oh, that's it. Damn,
that's the problem with
especially
rumors.
Because the first 2 they announced were Ken and Incineroar, and because we were both kind of in agreement that they aren't the most exciting ones to end on. Like, I honestly thought, like, oh, this feels like a starter intro video.
Yeah.
I felt like there's going to be a crazier one later on.
And
the fact that both of them were first revealed, it's like, oh, so it felt almost certain that there's going to be more to come. But then, after screaming that, I saw, these are the final 2 fighters, and you're like, wait, what?
Yeah, because, I mean, I didn't believe the rumor either. Last episode, we talked about how improbable it was. Like, the idea of now, we were, just to be safe, we didn't say what it was, but now that's not true. Banjo-Kazooie, Geno, Isaac, all those. It was like, okay, we're not going to get all those. They had like 6 on the list. But maybe we'll get like 3 cool ones. So when they did the 2 okay ones, and then there wasn't the cool one that followed, I'm like, I mean, I know the rumor's not real, but like never trust the Grinch apparently. But it's just kind of like that
how
felt
the Grinch stole the hype.
How the Grinch stole Smash Bros. Yeah, it just I don't know. It just felt it did dampen things a little. But where it turned around for me at least was they did reveal a 3rd character to their credit. And oh, I love it. They revealed Piranha Plant as a playable character.
I really like and I really hate this character's existence. So like,
please explain why. Like, walk me through this.
I'll just start with the hate.
Okay.
Like, why Piranha Plant? Like, you have a pantheon of Nintendo characters and you pick like just a regular enemy. Like, it almost feels like an insult to Waluigi, who was seen in the Mario Party 3 are holding that Piranha Plant.
Now the Piranha Plant's holding him.
Yeah, like his Piranha Plant made it into the game. Like, it just feels like that to me feels like a waste of a slot.
Now listen, if I was Waluigi, I'd be proud of my pet achieving great things in life.
But,
like,
so that's kind of like where I stand. I'm like, you could have picked anyone else. I would have loved that they had put Petey Piranha. Like, that would have been
sort of
like that would have been a much better choice. Like, Petey Piranha has been in baseball. He's been like in Smash Brothers. Like,
but he's there as a final smash of normal Piranha Plant.
Yeah, but he could have.
He
could have actually done something instead. Like,
what do you mean done something? Whoa! Shots fired! What do you mean done something?
No,
the Piranha Plant does something.
No,
he juggles a spike ball with his mouth.
No, I'm not getting to that yet.
All right.
No, like if Petey Piranha was in the game, like his final smash could have been him actually doing something interesting instead of just a callback to his brawl fight.
Yeah,
which is what he did, just like toss all the cages around.
Yeah.
So that's like why like I hate the fact that this thing exists, but I also really, really, really like it because now that it's in there, they executed it so amazingly well.
So well.
Like just like I went from like confused to like disgruntled to like, wow, this is really awesome. Like I love the way it runs, the way it attacks. Everything about it just like you immediately forgive them because they really put a ton of like passion and work. Like someone in there like really really wanted to put this guy in there and
admit it happened.
Gosh darn it, like he did an awesome job.
He really did. Like it's
and also like and no one can complain because I mean it's a free character. It wasn't part of the 5. It was just like a bonus one thrown in there.
Yeah, and the thing is, like, it fits. Like, it goes so out of left field. It actually comes back around and fits. It's as weird as Rob. It's as weird as Duck Hunt Dog. Like, it makes
or refit trainer.
Like, it makes sense. And I just love that Sakurai. Like, of all the Nintendo characters he could have included, like you were saying, of all the rumors and, you know, choir kids for 2 Smash Bros. Generations now, or Springman, or Waluigi, just because, I know you mentioned it, but I just really want to stress Waluigi because there was such an outpouring for Waluigi. The fact that Sakurai still came up with a character, or whoever, and nobody expected it.
For sure it was
and
like
made
an
it
intern or something.
Maybe.
Like.
But the fact that someone came up with this character and made it totally work within Smash instantly, like you watch and just like, yeah, it works. That's crazy. Like, that's so cool to me. Like, it's props to them. That's really cool. Plus, I mean, to your point about why a random Mario enemy, I don't know if you've noticed, Mario enemies are having a moment right now. Chain Chomp's playing tennis. Monty Mole got invited to Mario Party. Like, not PD, but regular Piranha Plant is getting in fisticuffs. Like, this is their moment. This is the chance for the D team of the Mario universe to shine. Because Nintendo really wants that extra merchandising money, apparently. But it's, yeah, I don't know. I'm cool with it. I mean, I think part of the excitement...
It does make me think, like, if we are going to go down, like, this little rabbit hole of, like, minions being in it, because this is, like, the only, like, minion...
To be clear, when you say minions, you do not mean the yellow-goggled guys. Because never, ever should they be in Smash Bros.
Like, for all intents and purposes, every character in Smash Brothers, for the most part, is, like, their own character, like, except, say, for, like, the Pokemon.
Yeah.
But they're kind of like a step above like your average Goomba and stuff.
Right.
But since we're in this territory now, like it did kind of get me like on a little thinking exercise, like, what else? What other like minion could have? It's very versatile because I mean there are a ton of different Piranha Plants that are all used very skillfully, like in this like demo. So I'm like, I wonder if they could have done like Fire Bro would have been cool, or
a Hammer Bro would have been cool.
Well, on the left side, because like I feel like
you mean within the? I see.
Like a bro could be like a Fire Bro, Hammer Bro, Boomerang Bro.
Right. Could have been all of them.
Yeah, like I don't know what else they could have put, but I'm sure there's like other cool.
They could put the football guy from Mario World.
Charging Chuck.
I mean, he has no other thing he can do besides charge you, but they could have gotten creative.
They could have. See, that's the thing we don't know.
Yeah, well, maybe
I would have loved to see them do a Goomba if they had like somehow.
They would have just done the Goomba Tower from Mario Odyssey. That's, by the way, another example of the minions getting a chance to shine. The Goomba Tower was like one of the big, like, key assets of Mario Odyssey. Weirdly,
yeah, I wonder if it's like a thing like you get to like charge your Goomba and you max it's like 5 tall, and then like, you always start like at 1 and you're like faster. But
it's almost like it's almost like a vertical Choir Kids from Rhythm Heaven. If Choir Kids ever became a real thing, I mean.
Yeah. Well, there's still hope for some form of representation.
Yeah, and I mean, what's cool...
But at least now we know it probably won't be the wrestler from...
No, because Incineroar has that base covered.
Unless... Well, I mean, they did emphasize that he is a heel, so I guess this wrestler was probably a face. You're the face to the heel. I mean...
True. It's all work.
I mean, also the same reason why now I feel like Karate Joe probably won't make it in because I have Ken and Ryu. Like, you can't have too many karate people.
No, you can't. I mean, but tell that to Fire Emblem where they have 7 dudes with swords. So
yeah, like a few of them are pretty much identical. At least Robin changed things up, and even Corrin is pretty.
Yeah, Corrin's cool with the book and all. I get that, but I think the other
Corrin is the dragon one.
What am I thinking of? I'm thinking of Robin.
Yeah, the first one I said.
Yeah, you're right. But I do think what part of the reason I got excited about Piranha Plant is because he kind of like opened the door to the fact that the lineup isn't done yet. I mean, granted, they talked about the DLC and stuff, but just the idea that, like, you know, you went on a whole thought exercise about what other characters are possible. Like, even though Ken and Incineroar are, like, the end, they're not, because we got all this DLC coming. We know for sure that, first, you can get Piranha Plant for free as long as you buy the game by January 31st, for those who don't know. But we know for sure that for $6 a pop, between now and February 2020, or for $25 up front as a pass where you save $5, you will get a new character, a new stage, and a new piece of music 5 times over.
You save like $5 if you buy the combo.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
But please understand, we don't know the character, so buy it out of faith. Oh, but wait, we do know the character, so still buy it out of faith anyway.
Yeah, that's the thing I don't get. Like, it's really...
Like, I get you don't want to just like straight up tell what everything has. I don't think we've ever had a fighting game, and this is like coming from like Injustice, Street Fighter V, and Killer Instinct that have done like DLC packs for a long time in seasons.
Right.
They Killer Instinct usually like spaces it out and doesn't tell you what's coming.
Right.
But Mortal Kombat, like, I mean, Street Fighter, what I like that they do is that they give you like 5 silhouettes that are purposely kind of ambiguous. So like they're kind of posed in a way that you might be able to guess what they are, but there's still going to be a lot of like speculation. But then people thought that was too slow, so in the 3rd season they just straight up told you, here's everyone that's coming. And then we're still, I think we just got Sagat recently, and we knew about him like almost half a year before he came out. I think Mortal Kombat is the one that tells you way ahead.
Yeah. Because
whenever they release their combat pack trailer, it's like a trailer with all the DLC characters fighting against each other, which is really cool.
And like, I don't necessarily fault Nintendo for not telling us. They did the exact same thing for Breath of the Wild, where they're like, hey, buy the season pass. We'll give you a small cosmetic item for now, a Switch shirt, which they're doing with Smash. If you buy the Fire Pass, you get...
Piranha Plant?
No, you get that just for buying the game. You get the Rex outfit for Mii Fighter from Xenoblade. But it's still, it's about it's like 1-to-1 with what they did for Zelda. Some cosmetic thing. And then you're just like, okay, I'm buying in. But the thing that they did with Zelda is they very...
how Mii's work. I want to know, like, what's the deal with Mii?
What do you mean?
Well, they didn't say that you could change their moves, but if you look at the bottom, like, the corner of the screen, when they're changing through the costumes, it changes their moves. So they're still... like, I guess fully customizable.
They are. They said they were. They are. They're exactly like the...
I mean, like the moves. So like each one has 3 moves for each B move. Because then that's gonna... I thought like them saying like, oh, we're getting them ready for online and competitive play. Because the whole thing with the Mii that made them not viable, or not so much not viable, but just that people didn't want to bother with them, is just the fact that it took forever to like create a Mii.
Right.
And you can't have like... no one's gonna sit down and make like every single possible move combination just so we can have them ready for tournament. So people were hoping, oh, just give them one definitive moveset each, and that's it. But if that's not the case, then that means we're back to, oh, Mii's are never going to be in tournaments.
Right.
Which kind of sucks. Cause
I mean, I do remember Sakurai saying in one of his presentations the Mii's would work like they do in the last one, but I don't know if he was implying this level of customization or just that you can customize. Yeah,
when he said online ready, I'm pretty sure he just meant that, oh, you can't customize the faces, therefore no one can get offended because now you're just stuck with the defaults.
That'd be typical Nintendo. But back to the DLC while we talk about things that are questionable. So I was saying with Zelda, that, they gave you a cosmetic thing, but with Zelda, at least they were up front and they're like, hey, we're selling this DLC, you're going to buy it, that's how this is going to work. Meanwhile, with Fighter Pass, Sakurai's like, please just use your best judgment. If you feel you should buy it and you feel like you can trust us, go ahead and trust us. But if you're hesitant, please don't. And it's just like, well, that makes me feel like not as confident about it. Like, I'm still going to buy it, don't get me wrong. But it's just like, it's weird how with Zelda, they're like, yo, this is what we're doing. You're paying, enjoy. And this one, it's like, if you really want, like, just, they like Woody Allen'd it. Like, I don't know how bad it's also know that, really weird.
If you're going to play the game competitively, you're pretty much forced to buy the DLC because you have to learn the matchups.
Oh, yeah, no, they're for sure. Like, sure it's going to sell the same number, if not more. I just don't understand why, messaging-wise, Nintendo, when it worked for Zelda, was fine. I know, but I know. Like, even when he's like, I guess I'm never going to get a break, and, like, sadly blinked, I was like, oh, I actually feel bad. But, yeah, I don't know, it's just very weird that Nintendo let him be like...
Nah, he's a workaholic. It gets him off.
He is. It does it. But, yeah, I don't know, it struck me as weird messaging. Like, I have no reason not to trust Nintendo. I am going to buy the DLC. They've always delivered with their DLC. It was just a strange PR thing I noticed. But, of course, the second question about the DLC is, beyond just how they're approaching it, what should we expect? Like, what do you imagine? What do you think the type of characters? Because Nintendo... So, Sakurai tweeted after the presentation, like a week later, that the characters are locked down. They were chosen by Nintendo, and he selected from that pool of however many that Nintendo offered him. Versus before, when it was a fan vote, and he got a pick and that sort of thing. So, what do you think that means about the type of character we're going to see? My gut...
That means we're going to get a Fire Emblem character from the next Switch game.
Probably
before it even comes out.
Yeah, because my gut is it's going to be less reflective of the history of Nintendo and more about whatever game Nintendo currently wants to push or sell. Mm-hmm. Right? So that would be Fire Emblem. I would not
Probably the next gen Pokemon.
I wouldn't be totally shocked. Maybe Meltan. I wouldn't be totally shocked if, like, a Dragalia Lost guy pops up.
That'd be interesting, but...
I mean, he's basically a Fire Emblem character, let's be honest. But, like, he has a sword and everything. But,
at least pick the sorceress sister. I mean, at least that would be different.
Yeah, at least that would be different. But, yeah, I don't know. It's just, it seems like if Nintendo's dictating it, they're going to use this for marketing. Which, again, no problem. Bayonetta was, Yes, it was the fan vote, but they said Bayonetta wasn't the top choice. They did Bayonetta because Bayonetta is a Nintendo.
It was only the top
now.
choice in Europe.
Right, and they only did it because marketing. I mean, Bayonetta 1 and 2. And it worked. Lady Gaga plays Bayonetta and tweets about how great it is, so... clearly doing something.
I wonder who was... Did they ever say who was actually the most picked overall?
I don't recall,
I don't think they
to
did,
be honest.
Honestly.
I don't recall.
It was probably King K. Rool for all we know.
But, yeah, I might... King K. Rool is up there. But, yeah, whatever the DLC is, like, I don't really mind. It's fine. And I think the same reason I don't mind about this is the reason I don't understand people that complain about Ultimate's final main roster. Like, if you take a step back and look at what we're getting day one, the base game, it's insane. I mean, we're getting 74 playable characters. Sure, some are echoes.
More than any fighting game, which means that... I mean, this almost kind of makes Smash Brothers as a fighting game not friendly to... What's the word I'm looking for? Unapproachable?
No, that's approachable. The core game...
No, competitively. Because usually the whole thing about competitive fighting games is that, especially fighting games, is that you really want to know, like, your matchups. You want to know, like, alright, if I'm going to focus on playing Ryu, I have to know the Ryu versus Cammy, the Ryu versus Chun-Li, the Ryu versus that.
Yeah, so how
so
you know...
you have to do that, like, 72 times.
Well, that's where the tier list will come in, presumably. Is people who want to play competitively will just look at the tier list and only focus on picking a character that is ranked highest or higher.
Yeah, but still.
And that gets redundant. Everyone's going to be Bayonettaing again.
No, but I mean, that's the thing about tier lists. Like, whenever you have someone that's the highest, you start looking for characters that counter the top characters, and then those characters stop being used because they're being countered all the time. Then those become.
But that's my point. Is they're going to work off that list, and they don't need to worry about all 74. They need to worry about 12.
And even then, 10. Usually, like, especially with Smash 4, which was really awesome about this game, is that it was the most varied when it came to tournament results. You didn't really just have like a top 4 like Melee. It was like 12 or more characters spread across.
That's what I'm saying, yeah.
But even then, you still had a lot of people using like the other 43 in the tournament, and if you come across one of those and you don't know the matchup, you're pretty much gonna lose like to Ganon, and you're gonna be like, oh, I shouldn't have lost to him because I have my Fox game down, but I don't know how to play against Ganon. But
that just creates more variety in the sport.
No, I do.
It's a good thing.
I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just saying it's not good for beginners.
It's just a hurdle. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just a hurdle. It's like, I mean, it's fun for me because I get to play against like a bunch of different kinds of people. But if someone wants to get really good, they're gonna have a long road ahead. Right. That's all I'm saying.
No, I get what you mean. Yeah, that makes sense. But if you look at those 74, like ignoring the competitive aspect,
fighting against Pokemon Trainer is nuts because you have to adapt to 3 different play styles.
That's true. On the fly, essentially.
Which means whoever is playing Pokemon Trainer has to learn 3 different play styles and actually use them all.
That's what's amazing about Smash, and that's why I don't understand why some people are upset about the lineup. Is like, there's so many play styles, there's so many options, there's so many things that, like, okay, maybe Waluigi isn't a character, fine, but like
there is one character they also like. No one just likes Waluigi, and not another character.
Well, yeah,
I refuse to believe that.
Someone out there is strictly a Waluigi fan.
I refuse to believe that there isn't one person that at least doesn't like 2 or 3 of the characters in there.
Right, and that's what I don't understand. Is like, let's say you're a hardcore Nintendo fan. You should be happy that Ridley and King K. Rool made it. Let's say you are into other franchises. The fact that Castlevania is there is
I only
really
like
cool,
Rob as much as I do because of Brawl. Before Brawl, I didn't really care too much for Rob, but then I just played him a few times. I think I got him on random ones and just kept using him, and then eventually I really liked them.
Right,
then I started liking the character, and then yeah.
And that's why I don't understand why people are upset. Because, I mean, like, just think about the sheer level of, like, fan service in this. Not only are we getting all these characters, but we're getting amiibo of all of them. There's going to be amiibo of, like, Young Link, Pichu, Ice Climbers, Wolf, Daisy, Ken, Ridley, Piranha Plant. Piranha Plant gets an amiibo. Like, the fact that wherever you're a fan of, you can have a little collectible one now.
I'm surprised I haven't pre-ordered any amiibo. I think I'm actually just going to just wait.
I mean, I'm not necessarily buying them either, but that's super cool fan service that all these characers... I mean, Ice Climber is a big deal for a lot of people.
You're not getting any of the new amiibo?
I might get Piranha Plant. I will see. I don't know. I didn't buy all those. I would get Piranha Plant. Maybe Ice Climber. But, like, Ice Climber is a big one that a lot of people are happy about. And the fan service isn't even just, like, the core roster. Like, you mentioned Chibi Robo before. Like, I was gunning for Chibi Robo to be a playable character, but he's not. And that's fine, but you know it's cool.
And look, just be like, oh, but we tried with Chibi Robo. We gave him, like, 3 games in the past, like, 5 years.
I know. But you know what's cool is even if he's not a playable character, he has a Mii Fighter costume. Like, maybe people want Isaac or Shadow. They're there, just not in the capacity they want, but at least they have representation. Like, the fact that people are so set on I need this character playable. I don't get like even Springman from ARMS. He's a assist trophy too.
Yeah, and if you look at his assist trophy, that's pretty much all he does in the game.
Yeah, he's literally the entirety of his moveset in one assist trophy.
Yeah.
And not only that, but like they're getting really creative too.
Up.
You cannot. Oh yeah, it's true. He'd have no up B. He would just be like, I jump and I punch.
You just curve left and right, but since we're playing on a 2D field, you can't do that. So therefore, that's literally it.
Game over.
Yeah.
That's why he's an assist trophy. But not just that, but like the fan service just goes so deep too, because like they got really creative. The teacher from Art Academy is an assist trophy. The fly swatter from Mario Paint is an assist trophy. And don't even get me started on like the costumes. I mean, I mentioned Virtual Fighter before, but you also got Custom Robos. Ray MK2 is there. Ribbon Girl's there. The Labo Toy-Con robot suit is a thing your Mii can wear. Like they went all in.
Made me think of the Mocap Man from Mortal Kombat 3.
Yeah.
Or whatever it was.
Or like for some reason it made me think of Vector Man from the Genesis days, the wireframe character. I don't know why, but like I'm not trying to my overarching point here is I'm not trying to get on like a high horse and say you shouldn't be allowed to be disappointed if there's one or two things you don't want in particular. But to your point that there's gotta be another character you like take a step back to those that are upset and see the forest through the trees. Like Sakurai and his team went all in on this and produced what's quite possibly the biggest video game crossover and probably the biggest celebration of gaming in gaming.
Probably is. I think it is.
It is, yeah. And they literally, the amount of detail in this thing, like the fact that Yoshi's new Final Smash is a nod to 2 seconds from the intro of Melee where there's a herd of Yoshis running, and now they're like, well, why don't we make that the Final Smash? That's a cool thing for fans. Like, that level of detail is everywhere. So even if you didn't get Waluigi, like, look at all the things you did get.
Daisy just summons giant daisies.
Yeah, that's true.
So you get Brilliant, and then you get Daisy summoning giant daisies that are edible.
That's true. That's true.
Like, why? You couldn't...
What would you... Did she say, hi, I'm Daisy when she does it?
No, she just does the dance, and then
one of her taunts better be hi, I'm Daisy.
And then they're just like giant photorealistic daisies that appear instead of peaches.
I did see that, yeah. So yeah, okay, maybe not everything.
Yeah, one of her taunts better be hi, I'm Daisy.
Right, but okay, so maybe not everything's a home run, but enough of it is that I feel like, and I know it's hard to believe.
Jigglypuff turned super big. Like, what show or episode or...
Now it's just Smash Bros. Canon, I guess.
I mean, I'll give them. There's a move. I want to say there's a move called... No, there's a move called Minimize in Pokemon. There is a move called Expand.
Maximize.
Yeah, I mean, I thought like they would have gone... You know what's funny? Like, Peach and Daisy, like, they dance and put everyone to sleep. That should have been Jigglypuffs. Like,
should have.
Not dancing, just have her sing and put everyone to sleep.
I know, and then draw on them with a marker.
It was a gimme, and they, like,
didn't
messed
take
it up. Like,
yeah.
What the heck?
But ignoring that...
And then she could have, like, I don't know, give her, like, pull out a marker or something.
I just said that. I literally just said that.
No, after their sleep, but yeah.
Yeah.
I just didn't hear you because I was in my rage.
I know, you're rage hard. See, but you're the point. Like, okay, yeah, some of the choices are weird, but you're a light case of it. But there are people online that are, like, tweeting him, like, oh, why don't you have this character? Like, he had to tweet, hey, the roster's locked down. Please don't send me requests anymore. Like, be excited about what we're doing. It's just like...
We're sending requests for the second season.
Yeah, I mean, eventually he might say that. But I get that, like, people have their passions, and, like, you with Jigglypuff's marker, apparently. And that's fine, but, like, you at least can appreciate it. And I think most people listening get this, but there's some out there that don't.
Still,
that there's, like, there's 2 levels to this. So.
I mean, I can still appreciate the Jigglypuff growing big. I can't really
inexplicably.
Yeah, I don't know. When I saw
you can't appreciate daisies?
Yeah, when I saw Daisy producing daisies, that was kind of lame.
So what would you call her if she had a kid? What would Daisy's kid be? Wouldn't it be a daisy? Not like a flower, but
whatever
she
named it.
Well, okay, you just yeah. Anyway, yeah. So I don't even know where to go from there. So I was gonna say there is one other hefty piece of fan service in Ultimate that we didn't mention, need to discuss. Because this is like the other half of the fan service coin. And also it's kind of interesting in its own way. And that is the spirit system. Basically, there are now hundreds, if not thousands, of additional characters that can influence gameplay. There are these little upgradable objects you can mix and match on your fighter. And I mean, they thought of everyone for this. They have everyone from Gooey from the Kirby games,
their
like Revolver, Ocelot. Yeah, their attribute modifiers to Rabbid Peach, to even like Shantae is in there now. And
the girl from
Eternal Darkness, who coincidentally was on our last episode's banner image I made. And I'm like, oh, that's weird that like I hunted down this image, cut it out manually by hand, and then like 2 days later she's in Smash. But so you're welcome, Eternal Darkness fans, is what I'm saying. But beyond just the characters, like the whole spirit setup, it's kind of this interesting like amalgamation of past Smash
Snake
games.
From Phantom Pain is in it.
Is he?
Yeah.
Wow, they're really going all out with this.
Yeah, because you know how you in this game,
I didn't see him. Huh.
In this game, you could evolve your spirits, like turn them into more powerful ones. Like for some reason, Dixie Kong turns into Dixie and Kitty Kong instead of
because that's the asset they could find.
Like, does Kitty Kong not have his own spirit in that case?
No, it's because they looked at here's the problem with them. Their amalgamation of the collectability of trophies with the stat tweaking of the old sticker system with a challenge mode, right? But what they did is because trophies are hard to make, you have to render 3D trophies? No, thank you. They're like, what if spirits are like stickers and that we just take existing character art from existing asset drives on existing press sites and make them in game? So there's only so many Dixies. You can't get a bigger Dixie unless she turns into Candy Kong, which would be weirdly, that's weirdly sexual. So instead, they're like, well, I found a picture of Kitty Kong with Dixie Kong. Great. Stick it in the game. That's how that happened. Because these are a low-budget way to replicate trophies when they have to focus so much on 74 characters.
Well, to finish the thought...
Sorry.
Snake Eater Snake from Metal Gear Solid 3, when you evolve him, he turns into Phantom Pain Snake from the non-Nintendo game. But,
I mean, that's not that weird.
No, yeah.
Snake was in it when he wasn't even really barely a Nintendo thing.
Yeah, he was.
I mean, he was on the NES and Game Boy.
And he was on the GameCube, Twin Snakes.
That's true. Oh, that's true. I forgot about Twin Snakes.
Yeah.
All right. Fair.
That's actually the snake that's on that game.
That's true. Okay. But yeah, the whole spirit thing is just... Okay. No, but the whole spirit thing is just... Yeah. It's
Cloud, I don't know why he's there.
Okay, that would be a better one. Well, he had a cameo, in Kingdom Hearts Chain of Memories for the Game Boy Advance, released in 2003.
Was it in
or
Chain
4?
Of Memories? I'm pretty sure it was
he's in
it. It wasn't one of the 3D ones.
He's also... Okay, fine, better one. He's in Theater Rhythm on the DS.
There you go.
There we go.
There you go.
There we go. But yeah, I don't know. Like, what do you think of spirits? Because it's an interesting system.
I mean, it's funny. I don't mind that the trophies are gone. I like the trophies. I like looking at them.
I do miss the history that comes with them.
Yeah, that's why I like. I feel like what I'm gonna miss most is the flavor text next to each trophy.
Yeah.
Are they still there?
No clue.
Somewhere.
I know they put names above the.
Yeah, it had the name of the trophy, but does it also tell
the
you
sticker?
what?
I mean the
spirit.
spirit.
The spirit. But does it also tell you what game it's from? I saw I saw the screen where it showed you the card and the info, but I couldn't find the name of the game it's from.
I don't know.
So does that mean maybe 50% of the trophies I'm not going to know where they're from because they're so obscure?
Again, they're spirits. If they were trophies, this would not be an issue. But
they're trophies of sorts.
They're trophies that have a gameplay.
I'm probably going to call them trophies so I don't have to change my muscle memory.
I'm going to call them spirits because they're different from trophies. And you know why they're different from trophies? Because they don't have history next to them, which is why they are different to me. But yeah, I don't know. It's.
But they do have history to them.
Yes, just not in a way that's presented to us. But yeah, I don't know. I think... it's weird because I understand why they did this. I mean, I was kind of touching on it already. But I even understand why they did it, not just for a low budget thing, but it adds just some more replayability to the game. Like the spirit battle mode is actually kind of cool in that they're having existing characters represent and here's where the name comes from, guys, represent the spirit of these other characters by having the scenarios you battle them and kind of pay homage to those. So things like the one they keep citing as an example is, look, it's Mega Man, but he's orange like Guts Man. And he's on a stage that looks kind of like where Gutsman is from. And if you beat him, you get Gutsman. So it's these kind of...
Gutsman.
Gutsman. But you kind of get these weird little winks and nods. It's very much in the same mindset as in how I was saying after the last presentation. In all the trailers, they do such a good job of creating little scenarios that pay homage to the character's origins. They're doing that with the spirits through the other characters. And that to me is cool. And the idea that you have a whole mode where you go through these and you can kind of level them up and you can have them enhance your character. All that's interesting and kind of more it's a bigger role in the core Smash experience than trophies was. But I like my history lessons, so I don't know. I mean, are you even gonna use spirits? Did you even use stickers in the last couple Smashes? Because this is basically a 1-to-1 of that.
Emissary.
But not for any of the multiplayer because they probably won't work online. Because then
I don't think you can use them for anything else. In Brawl, I don't believe...
You could do local multiplayer with them. You could have your sticker guy go against your amiibo fighter, for example, right? Couldn't you?
There weren't any stickers in Smash 4.
Oh, I'm thinking of...
And Brawl didn't have amiibo, so you're completely...
I'm making up totally different things. Well, you could use them locally in Brawl, couldn't you?
I don't think so.
Maybe not.
I'm 99% sure there were a Surface Emissary only mode. But...
Oh, maybe.
But regardless, I'm going to try to collect them all, because, I typically... like always complete every Smash game.
But you gotta do like the whole RPG thing where you level them up, because like this is, to their credit, this is like a full-on little mini RPG. They got a whole rock.
I beat Subspace Emissary.
Right.
I beat all the event challenges in every game.
Right.
So I'm gonna have to do that. I'm probably gonna have to do that to complete their achievement system that they always have,
which they didn't even touch on in this presentation. I just realized, did they?
Yeah. Instead of it being one giant panel like it was in the Wii U, it's now like a bunch of separate portraits.
Yeah, that's right. It's like Street Pass puzzles.
It's like how it was on the 3DS, because the 3DS had a bunch of different panels. It had like a smaller one,
Street Pass puzzles.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, it's kind of a cool idea. But I kind of hope that they're used for something else, because like there's so much involved with it. There's a whole rock paper scissors mechanic. They have primary and secondary spirits, which you can pair together, and they recommend pairs thematically based on their games. Like there's all sorts of like little nods to the history of these guys. So I'm hoping that has a payoff. You can even like send them out to go fight and level up on their own, kind of a Street Pass RPG thing. So I kind of hope it had some meat behind it. I mean, I will say, if Spirit Mode was the bulk of the single player experience, I would have been pretty disappointed, because it's neat, but it's not like, you know what I mean? It doesn't have like the production value. It doesn't have like it's missing a piece. And it even looked like until the end of the presentation that it was single player. Like RA had a tweet going like, this is single player. And then of course out of nowhere they came in with World of Light, which is the actual full meaty adventure mode. So what you said you beat Subspace Emissary. Did you actually enjoy it, or were you just doing it for completionist's sake?
The gameplay itself was really boring and monotonous, but the cutscenes made it worth it.
That's exactly what I was gonna say. Like, I actually did it all the way through. I don't know if you remember, because we only barely knew each other at the time. Like, we were just becoming friends. You did, because of what I did, which is I insisted on unlocking all my characters in Brawl through Subspace Emissary. So I went through the whole thing. I was like, I'm going to lock them this way and this way. Eventually, I went to class. I came back, and people in my dorm unlocked them all without telling me. But up until that point, I was doing pretty well on my own.
That sounds hilarious.
And I think, looking back, the reason I enjoyed it, you're right, it wasn't the gameplay. I mean, the gameplay is basically Kirby light, which makes sense because it's Sakurai. Like, it was this kind of standard whatever 2D action platformer, and it got kind of repetitive. And yeah, there's some like little scenarios that were more interesting, but the reason I liked it was the cutscenes.
So many characters to work with, but they make up their own for some reason.
I know, I never understood that. And that's what's promising to me about this one is, I don't know if you noticed, so the way it plays out, we have no idea. It's some weird map. It looks like you go scenario to scenario and do different battles on this big grid.
So no Smash Run and no Smash Board, whatever.
I guess not. Well, this almost
Smash
seems
Tour.
This seems to kind of borrow the grid or the overworld map of Smash Tour. But the thing I was gonna say is, what's cool is the characters they show in it are the main characters you can play as, and the assist trophies and Pokemon. Like, at one point it looks like you can hop on a Lapras and ride it. So like, they are actually using proper Nintendo characters this time, which is promising, I feel like, opposed to weird generic what looked like finger puppets that came to life or whatever they were in Emissary. So I'm cool with that. And I think what's also kind of nice is everything we've seen about World of Light so far suggests that the cutscenes and the story elements are all there and are all going to be really good and interesting. I mean, they went full Avengers Infinity War on the Nintendo universe. They vaporized everyone but Kirby. And so it's kind of like, well, what's going on with that? Like, someone actually did a mashup of the Infinity War trailer with footage from World of Light, and it works like shockingly well. Like, it's actually really well done. We'll link to it in the blog post for those who haven't seen it. It's really well done. But beyond that, like, the way the trailer just comes together, every character's unique traits are like accounted for and shown. You know, like Palutena, she dies, and then Pit and Dark Pit's wings immediately evaporate. Or like Wii Fit Trainer, they show her doing her like Tree of Life pose, because in normal Smash Bros, that gives her a second of invulnerability. So she figured, I can air dodge the vaporizing, but nope, because, you know, but that's impossible. But like the attention to detail in just that one cutscene game got me super excited about how the cutscenes and stories are going to come together throughout presumably the whole World of Light adventure mode. And it all seems to tie back to the previous trailers as well. So now we get to know why everyone keeps dying in every single trailer that's ever been released. Like, it's really promising. I mean, we don't know about the mode at all, like I said, but I'm very excited about what the story will be. There's like 24 Master Hands. They're a master race of Master Hands. It's the Master Hand Master Race. But yeah, it's I don't know. You gotta hand it to them. But yeah, it's just it's. I'm kind of glad they didn't show too much about this. Like, I'm glad there's some air of mystery about what's going to be the other big mode besides Spirit Mode and online and all that. Like, I don't know. I'm pretty excited about it. Do you think you're going to go through it? I'm guessing you are because you want to complete everything. But, like, are you going through it for, I guess, the story? Is the story enough to entice you?
No. But I'm sure I'll still enjoy the cutscenes.
That works.
I mean, I have to watch them regardless, so if they're good...
Wow, way to drag me down. Like, I'm so hyped, and you're like, I mean, they're there, and I have to do it.
I mean, well, that's something. I mean, I have to do it, but, I mean, I'll most likely enjoy them, so, I mean, that's cool.
I just thought the level of detail and the fact... Like, I just love crossovers in general. Like, not the SUV car crossovers. Those are not good. But I love crossover of characters, like, especially Nintendo. Like, this is... I'm excited for this. Now, I know you, Angel, you're all about competitive play, which means... I'm guessing online is where you're mostly going to be living when you're not completionisting everything, completing
apparently
everything.
Not. Apparently I have to build up my power ranking to a high enough level that I could get to the Elite Smash or whatever. Unless...
Wait, how's that different than you just work your way up to...
See, I don't know.
So here's what they
weren't 100% clear, but
They were in the press release a little.
I'm hoping the global Smash ranking is literally just an online thing and no longer tied to... how well you do in single player and break the targets and multi-man melee, because it used to encompass all of that.
So Global Smash Power, according to their press release, which I did pull up because I had a feeling you'd ask these questions, is specifically described in the press release as an online leaderboard that pits players against others with a similar score. Now, where that leaderboard is pulling from...
It's funny how it's literally just a reverse leaderboard. I wish it would just tell me how close I am to the top instead of how far I am from the bottom. It's so dumb.
Right. Yeah, well, you do know you're close to the top when you get into Elite Smash, which is normal. It's just like normal matchmaking, except only the best of the best. Yeah, which again is kind of a convoluted way of doing this. I'm not denying that.
Yeah, it's like oh man, what rank are you? Like, oh, I'm 45,000, like 825. Oh, I'm 529,822. Like,
well, how else would you word that? Wouldn't it be this?
No, because if you're in Elite Smash, it just sounds nicer if it's like, oh, I'm like the top 200.
Wait. Why do you think the number? Oh,
I don't like that the big.
You don't like the fact that the number gets bigger as you get better. It should get smaller as you get better.
Because it's weird. It's not like Mario Kart where the number gets bigger because those are the points you're like accruing.
Right.
So, yeah, like when you reach like rank 9,000, that's like, whoa, you made it to rank 9,000. That's cool. But this specifically means you're better than that many people, which is fine.
Does it?
That's what apparently it means.
I mean, you might be right. Yeah, I don't know.
According to Sakurai on the Direct, the Global Smash Power, and this Direct specifically, that's how... The Global Smash Power is how many people total worldwide are playing, and your number is how many people you're better than. So if you're number 2...
So the higher the number, the better, but it's hard to compare numbers.
Yeah, so if you're number 1, that doesn't mean you're number 1. That means you're literally the worst player in all of Smash Bros. History.
So I have a chance of being number 1 at something finally?
Basically.
Oh, man. Oh, I'm going for it. I'm just going to... actually, I can't just kill myself because the game disconnects you if you suicide.
An interesting exercise to see if someone can intentionally get number 1.
You can't because the game now if you suicide a lot, it actually penalizes you.
Well, don't suicide. Just like, I guess,
be bad but not so bad.
Yeah. So someone's gonna go for it.
Someone's
you know there's gonna be a YouTube video.
And then I'm number 1 in Smash, except it's really a bad.
It's gonna be an ironic the road to number 1.
Yeah, it'll be like golf.
Yeah.
But the matchmaking, so it's based on 3 things. It's based on Global Smash Power. It's based on your preferred rules. So it'll only match up people that have similar rule preferences. So if you prefer stock, it'll only get people with stock. If you prefer time, it'll only get people with time. And then also proximity for lag reasons. So they're saying both those, or they're saying specifically in normal matchmaking, all 3 apply. I think Elite Smash might just limit it to only the Smash Power as a determining factor. So yeah, you're right. It is kind of... But yeah.
Well, we'll see. I mean, it does seem like a step in the right direction. But...
To Sakurai's credit, even if he refuses to do a proper ranked mode, I think some of the other stuff being implemented in tandem with online battles is pretty cool. Like, I really like the idea behind Smash tags, where basically every time you beat someone, you get a little memento in the form of these pre-made tags each player gets to put together when they first go online. And you can then go back and look at all the folks you've bested. Or in my case, it'll be a blank page. But still, it's kind of a cool idea. Like, it's like a little... I don't know what analogy to use, but I just like it. I think it's a neat way to visually see how you've done. And they're also souping up video replays to let you share them with friends and online using a new feature within the Switch Online app that they're going to be calling Smash World. It's not out till next year, but basically it's the concept of Mario Kart 8's old Mario Kart TV just applied to, or MKTV, I think is how they technically named it. It's just applied to Smash. So you'll be
and
able to...
where is Mario Kart TV? I was going to say Mortal Kombat TV. It's like, we have the phone app. We're paying for it now. Like, Mario Kart, what the hell?
Yeah, I know. I remember when they first announced the premium Switch Online, I was like, oh, Mario Kart TV's going to come back. And then no. And then when Switch Online came out, I think I even said, where's Mario Kart TV? And nothing. But it's nice that Smash is kind of doing it. And they're doing something kind of cool where it's going to be within the app as a special segment, but it will have like kind of a interesting UI where it's like sort of a feed, but sort of like a Pinterest board looking thing. And I'm imagining what Nintendo's going to leverage it for is to not just show what your friends are doing, but because it's kind of not a traditional feed, they can also insert professional players, advanced techniques to learn, and your friends' accomplishments all kind of in one big grid. So that to me seems kind of cool. But weirdly, when announcing it in the Direct, Sakurai emphasized how it won't do stat tracking at all, which, given that the game has stat tracking based in on individual player level...
Up the wazoo.
Yeah, it seems both reasonable not put in the app for that reason, but also really odd to not put it in the app because they're already tracking like all that information. I mean, if you really want to see how you're doing, yeah, you can go in the game, but at the same time, Nintendo has all the data, so why not just add it to Smash World as a secondary screen or something? Make a leaderboard of people with the most collected Smash tags or something. Or they can take the global Smash Power stuff, take the win-loss ratios, and provide a filter that lets you do a leaderboard like what you want, Angel, or something like that. Like, seems easy enough, yet Nintendo's being weirdly defiant and braggadocious about how they won't be doing that and will only be doing video. It's strange. I don't know. I mean, it's a cool feature, Smash Bros. I just feel like, why are you bragging? But we're not going to put the things that you want. Only this. Which is cool, but not that. I don't know. It's weird. So that's kind of where Smash is at. I mean, am I missing anything? Are there any other modes, features you wanted to touch on from the Direct?
No, that's literally everything.
Cool, because it went through... Direct went... Thank you. The Direct went through literally everything we could think of. But I feel like we didn't need to talk about every little nitty-gritty thing, so I'm glad we've kind of reached a consensus on this is what there is to talk about. Because, we got to save some of it for the game itself. It's 3 weeks away. You can go demo it at malls starting... the 19th, I believe. You can demo it at Best Buy and GameStop starting around the same time. So, we're in the home stretch. It's happening. Smash is here. Which I feel like is a bigger deal if we were waiting more than 6 months for it, but they only just announced it in, March. So, anyway. Instead of talking about Smash, let's actually switch gears a bit to a different kind of fight, which are holiday sales. Nintendo put out its financial report last week for their second fiscal quarter, which is July 1st through September 30th. And the real narrative isn't how they did, but how much they'll need to do in order to reach their own goal of selling 20 million Switch this fiscal year alone. So don't get me wrong. They had a solid second quarter this past quarter. Overall profits are up 25%. They made $572 million year over year. 25% up 25% year over year to be $572 million. Sorry, that's weirdly worded. Net sales rose 4% to $3.5 billion. And Switch hardware sales in the last quarter, in the last quarter alone, were 3.19 million. And if you add in the quarter before that, so the first 6 months of the fiscal year, you're looking at Switch hardware sales to the tune of 5.07 million, which is not just up 3.7% compared to a year ago, which is good, but has also helped Switch outsell GameCube. So lifetime sales of GameCube are 21.74 million, and that's the entire life of GameCube from 2001 till now. Switch in 18 months, 22.86 million. So they're doing well. But here's the thing. Nintendo has that 20 million Switch goal looming over them. And that goal is specifically for this fiscal year. So from last March to next March. And as I noted, they only sold 5.07 million so far this fiscal year in the first half. Meaning that between now and the end of March, they essentially need to sell 15 million Switches. And to give you some context, they basically need to do double the number of Switches that they sold last holiday season in 2017. And that was at the peak of Switch frenzy that had Mario Odyssey as the big new release, that Zelda, it was hot. And it's still going to do quite well because obviously Smash and Pokemon, but they need to somehow sell 15 million Switches in the next 6 months. And like I said, Smash and Pokemon, they'll help. I mean, in a briefing in tandem with the financial report, Shintaro Furukawa, who is Nintendo's new president, he talked up just how important those two games are and even threw in some fun little factoids to show that they're going to bring in extra money for Nintendo even if Switch doesn't meet its goal. For example, did you know over half of all Pokemon Let's Go pre-orders also include the Pokeball Plus accessory? There's a little tidbit. And how about this? The lifetime amiibo sales specifically of amiibo figurines, have now topped $50 million. And he's that's an example of how revenue from Smash Ultimate will be beyond the game. It'll be the amiibo, it'll be the Pro Controller. I mean, you're getting a Pro Controller, aren't you?
Yes.
Yeah, so see, you're already helping Nintendo.
Yes.
Lean real close to that mic. But yeah, it's already helping Nintendo. But he also discussed one other game that Nintendo believes is going to be crucial for the holidays, and that is Super Mario Party. Now, to be honest, even after we talked about it last episode, how Mario Party debuted at number 9 on the NPD Top 10 with only 2 days of sales, I never really thought of it as a game that could be a big holiday sales performer for Nintendo. Like, Mario Parties always do well, but they kind of fizzle out. They just do whatever, basically. Yet Super Mario Party is really putting up big numbers already. I mean, in the briefing, Furukawa pointed out that in the 3 or so weeks that it was out before the quarter closed, before Nintendo's financial period closed, the game already moved over 1.5 million copies, which is a lot for a Mario Party. I mean, on November 16th, they're now coming out with a special Mario Party Joy-Con bundle that comes with the game. It comes with a yellow Joy-Con. It comes with a green Joy-Con. It's all $100, and they hit 1.5 million before any of that even happened. And now they have this bundle, which is actually a really good deal if you consider that a pair of Joy-Cons on their own is $80 and a single one's $50. So you're getting Mario Party for anywhere from you're basically getting Mario Party for $20. That's a good deal, and they hit 1.5 million without having to do that. But what I find so weird about that controller bundle is we've seen in the past that bundling a game with controllers usually works quite well for the game overall. Wii Play is perhaps the best example of this back in the Wii days. It is to this day the 5th best-selling Wii game ever. They sold over 28 million copies of Wii Play, all because it came with that Wii remote. So I imagine if you're in the market for a Switch and you need a second pair of controllers, that Mario Party bundle is really going to jump out to you, especially on Black Friday, where they're already doing a special Switch bundle with Mario Kart 8 Deluxe for $300. So now you can get 2 games, 4 controllers for $400 flat with the system. That's a good deal. But I'm kind of surprised.
Man, and you paid $300 for just the console like a chump.
I know, and I bought Mario Party for $60 without extra controllers. I'm a chump.
Don't feel too bad. I think I paid $60 for 1-2 Switch.
That brings up a really good point. Why? I'm honestly surprised. Why didn't Nintendo do this for 1-2 Switch last holiday season?
Or just make it preloaded in from...
Or that, but let's say they want to do the controller bundle thing. They want to sell it as an extra item, not bundle it with the hardware. If they did it last holiday, it probably could have made a killing. Because, even now, even with 1-2 Switch's, meh reputation that it has, it still sells surprisingly well. This past quarter, 1-2 Switch sold an additional 190,000 units.
Really?
Yes, that's more than ARMS. ARMS sold 90,000 units,
Jeez.
and 1-2 Switch sold 100,000 more than that. It sold more than Xenoblade 2 sold this past quarter, and Xenoblade 2 had the new DLC physical release. Xenoblade only came in at 170,000. Somehow 1-2 Switch is at 190,000, which, 20,000 is not a huge difference, but when you're saying, here's a year-and-a-half-old game that no one likes, and here's a new game with brand new DLC and a new physical release, it's kind of crazy it still outsold it. Somehow... You ready for a crazy stat? Somehow 1-2 Switch's lifetime sales are at 2.64 million. ARMS just passed 2 million recently. 1-2 Switch is killing it. And I don't really know why clearly there's an interest. So why don't they leverage that and make 1-2 Switch a much bigger thing? I don't know why there's an interest, but throw a controller in there. Make it, $100 like Mario Party was. That's just money left on the table in a way. They could have done that last holiday. It's just, it's weird to me. I mean, how would you have Wii Play? You bought Wii Play back in the day, right?
Yeah, I did.
Okay, so Wii Play is probably the most 1-to-1 to 1-2 Switch.
Also got Wii Play Motion.
Oh yeah, I forgot about Wii Play Motion. Which do you think is the better product, 1-2 Switch or Wii Play?
Wii Play.
Is it because
easily?
Is it because Wii Play's modes actually have leaderboards and score? Or no, 1-2 Switch has scores too. What is it about Wii Play that's just
the games are more fleshed out? You can actually play them for a long time. Wii Play, for one, has the tank game itself. It's a super long game. It's true. Deeper as you go along. It's just really fun and simple. And it's way deeper than you would expect. All the games on 1-2 Switch
are as shallow as you would expect.
Yeah, once you do them once, that's literally the same experience every single time. We Play, you actually have games that you could play for a long
in different ways.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I feel like I was saying, I think like the best, like the most
depth to
analogous to 1-2 Switch if it were to get a console or a controller bundle
it's almost like
would have been 1-2.
1-2 Switch is like the demo to a game that never came, and We Play is the actual game.
Right. Well, maybe that's why Mario Party is the one that's getting the bundle instead of 1-2 Switch, because Mario Party, I guess in reality, is closer to We Play in that it literally has a tank game. It's like the same game. No, but it has more meat on the bone, so I guess it does feel like a more worthwhile investment. Like maybe Nintendo's just trying to bury 1-2 Switch at this point.
Yeah.
But they're definitely hoping that Mario Party becomes a big seller for them. I mean, Furukawa said Furukawa said in the briefing that they fully expect that Super Mario Party is going to be their next big evergreen title, and that the Joy-Con bundle is just to kind of push it further down that path. So yeah, maybe they are just trying to bury 1-2 Switch. I was surprised they didn't give it a chance last holiday, but whatever. It does rather nicely bring us to the other half of Nintendo's holiday strategy, though. Like, obviously, new games are important. Mario Party, Pokemon, Smash. But you gotta give...
credit where credit's due?
Yeah, you gotta give credit where credit's due. And you gotta, like, hand it to the existing games, because they're also carrying a lot of weight. I mean, Nintendo, more than ever before, perhaps, is reliant on these existing games and leveraging those games as a significant driving force of getting to that 20 million Switch goal. I mean, frankly, I don't blame them. 2 of Switch's million sellers this past quarter weren't even new games. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe sold 1.36 million more copies a year after its release in this past quarter. Its total lifetime sales are 11.71 million now. Mario Odyssey sold 1 million copies these past 3 months to bring its total to 12.17 million. It's Switch's top-selling game, period. Even Breath of the Wild, it moved nearly 1 million units in just the last quarter alone, 960,000, which means that its sales total is now at 10.28 million for just the Switch version of Breath of the Wild, which actually makes it the top-selling individual Zelda release ever, like individual SKU, ever. So all these games, even a year and a half out from when they came out, they're all still doing really well, and they still have like crazy high attach rates. Furukawa said during the briefing that they have not seen any change in attach rate to any of these games. Like a third of the people that bought new Switches this past quarter, of those 3 million that bought it, also bought Zelda, is what this number is saying. And Mario and Mario Kart are seeing similar numbers. They're basically as if they're brand new for new Switch owners. Which, if you're trying to sell a system and hit a certain goal, having these plus the new games is a pretty good double whammy.
Yeah, as much as I feel like at least like Breath of the Wild and Super Mario Odyssey don't really have I guess longevity, like other games did. I would still definitely say that they're like must-haves if you just bought a Switch.
Right,
so
and
it makes sense. Yeah.
It does, and I still think they should. I mean, clearly the numbers suggest they don't need to, but I still think it would have been cool if they did DLC for Mario Kart this holiday, like a third DLC. Well, I guess the first DLC pack. Yeah, I mean they worked great for them when they did it the first time.
With a third of Zero Track and still no Captain Falcon.
Of course not.
And somehow you didn't even know there was a second.
Yeah, I forgot that Big Blue was it Big Blue or the other one?
Yeah, it was Big Blue.
Yeah, I forgot Big Blue was even in Mario Kart. I'm a bad fan.
I mean, you're also aging.
Okay, we don't need to get into that. But but you're not wrong. We all are aging together. Together we're all slowly dying.
It's a gray area.
See what you're doing here. Yeah. See what you're doing here. Anyway, what's perhaps more interesting, to me at least, than those big numbers put up by the obvious evergreen titles is what's just below those. Because those 3 that I just mentioned, Mario Kart, Zelda, of course they're going to sell well. I mean, fact of the matter is, this past quarter, did you know Mario Kart Wii managed to somehow sell 40,000 units? I don't even know where people are finding the game.
Yeah.
But it still managed to sell 40,000. So, like, Mario Kart... Right? It's almost as if Nintendo's juking the stats. No, but
from their online store, do they still sell games?
I don't think so. Someone's just finding them in a dusty bin in Walmart and buying them, I guess. I don't really know, but somehow, Mario Kart is
so boring though.
It is very boring, but it says Mario Kart and that's all it takes. Like if that on Wii can sell 40,000 however many years after it came out, 2 generations later, yeah, Mario Kart on Switch is of course going to sell well. But what's surprising to me is seeing smaller titles become evergreens on their own. So Splatoon 2, that one kind of straddles the line between being like a given evergreen and a newcomer, and it managed to move 710,000 units, so almost 750,000 in the past quarter. But you know what performed even better than that, surprisingly, was Mario Tennis Aces. it moved 780,000 units. Its lifetime sales, remember, it's only been out since June, are already at 2.16 million. And Furukawa indicated that
constant flow of DLC.
Well, he indicated that there's two things attributing to it. First, he showed this crazy chart. This chart, it was the first 17 weeks of any Mario Tennis from the last few generations, and Aces has sold more than double all of them. Power Tennis couldn't come close on Wii. Open on 3DS couldn't come close. Certainly Ultra Smash on Wii U didn't come close. But yeah, Aces is just powering through, and he did attribute it to two things. One is not what you said. One is that it is basically resonating with the whole anytime, anywhere, with anyone message of the Switch. We've seen any game that leans into this idea that came from Nintendo seems to do quite well. Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze, it's sold 1.67 million units now. That's in large part because, co-op at any time with anyone. Kirby Star Allies, that moved another nearly 250,000 units last quarter. 210,000 to be precise.
I forget that game's on the Switch sometimes.
Right, but did you know it already has as many sales as ARMS? 2.1 million. And it's been out since only March. Like, any game that's a familiar face that leans in on this whole Switch philosophy seems to do well. And it's a simple, clean-cut explanation of how these evergreens work and why they work. And it does help Nintendo get closer to the goal, but there is the other side of the coin, which is what you were saying, which is beyond just matching the MO of a Switch game. They have this DLC thing. They have what they're calling long-term play. And it's a point that Furukawa discussed pretty heavily in the presentation. Like, heavily enough that I think it has meaning beyond just, these games are doing well because we support them for a long time. Like, he was saying that it's important that they offer long-term play through new content, in-game events, that sort of thing. And we talked about on the show, it's win-win. The people who own the game get new content. Nintendo gets to get extra marketing out of it. But to hear Furukawa go into so much detail about it, and always talk about it's like this core tenet of Nintendo's approach to gaming now, it's interesting because it means we may soon enter a period where basically the vast majority of these games are services now, in a way. Like, I don't think we're going to get Splatoon level for everything, but, the immediate example is Mario Tennis Aces. They've been doing, monthly characters, basically, in monthly online tournaments, and I don't know, I haven't played it in a while, but is that actually getting you to go back and play it at all? Or are you pretty much out?
I haven't touched it in a long
Okay, so we're both in the same boat, but clearly it's working for someone because the game's selling well and the events are continuing on and whatnot, so it's working on some level. But what's the most immediate example of how they're now starting to adapt to this strategy on the fly?
Still on my radar, but just haven't touched it.
Right, same. Yeah, I know Paratrooper is the current one, I just haven't done it. But the more immediate example that's kind of demonstrating how they're now switching to this strategy more is probably Kirby Star Allies. Like I said, it sold, 250,000 last quarter, whatever. But with Kirby, what we were originally told, if I'm not mistaken, is we're going to get a few DLC packs of new playable characters, Kirby's friends, Dream Friends, and that's it. And then they announced out of nowhere that the new DLC pack, which now comes out November 30th, is actually going to go one step further and include an entirely new mode. It's called Heroes in Another Dimension. It's basically a challenge mode. It's all new levels, and there's a new goal of collecting friend hearts scattered around each level, and then they will have harder boss fights to go against. I think it's the bosses from elsewhere in the game just ramped up in difficulty, but in new environments. And that, as far as I'm aware, was not a thing when they first announced the DLC. That just kind of came in.
The DLC that came with the artist, dude?
Oh, this is the new iteration of that, yes. So they've done 3 of these packs where it's just Dream Friends, and you get to control the artist dude, and you get to control Gooey, like all that, and the hamster.
Because I know when the artist dude came out, they also included levels from Kirby's Crystal Shards in it.
Right, and that's more in line with what they're saying. It's like throwback stuff to existing Kirby games, but now they're going, we're going to give you a whole new mode. And I don't remember that originally being part of the deal, which is great. It's all free, but to hear
because new levels weren't even part of the original deal. First, it was just characters.
Right, so it's like we're watching in real time as Nintendo, as Furukawa is implementing this long play idea where they keep pumping content to existing games to keep it elevated and keep it in people's mindsets and everything, which is interesting. Like, I haven't gone back to Kirby. I tried some of the Crystal Shards levels, but I haven't gone back since that. I might check out the mode. I mean, it's there. And then, so for me, that's getting me to re-engage or switch. Maybe I look at other games at that point. For people that never bought Kirby, it's suddenly on everyone's radar. Like, Nintendo tweeted out this afternoon a new trailer and everything for a game they haven't really talked about in a couple months. So it kind of works across the board for everyone. And it's not really stopping there either. Like, another game that it turns out is getting DLC is Travis Strikes Again, No More Heroes, which we learned in the presentation or in the financial report. Nintendo themselves are actually going to publish this, which is why I'm lumping it in here, because originally this was a small spin-off game, right? Like, oh yeah, it's not a real No More Heroes. It's kind of a top-down indie game thing. Nintendo's helping us out with it. It'll be this fun little thing. But now it has a season pass of DLC, and it's getting a physical release according to online listings. And according to those online listings, if you buy the physical release, you get all the DLC included in the $40 price, which is pretty cool in of itself. But like I said, this started off as a small like spin-off project to ultimately lead to No More Heroes 3. Now it's becoming a self-contained little mini game as service where Nintendo and Grasshopper are making it like this longer play, bigger deal thing out of basically nowhere. Which, just to me at least sounds like it's Furukawa's strategy again being implemented. And then if you look at the other end of that same, like the other side of that same coin, you got something like Zelda. And a lot of folks have been reporting this news story that Nintendo is hiring folks for a new Zelda project. And the story's been going, oh look, Nintendo's making a new Zelda. Crazy. Like, of course they're making a new Zelda, no doubt. But what's newsworthy to me is that they're hiring, in particular, among other things, a designer with experience in designing in-game events. And to be fair, this could very well just mean story events as much as it can mean some sort of long-term play or like game as service thing. But given what Furukawa has been saying, given what we're seeing with Mario Tennis already happening, with Kirby now, with Travis Strikes Again starting to out of nowhere get DLC, it kind of lines up that something's going to happen with Zelda as well. And it does make me wonder, like, if they do go down this road, like, what could that be? Like, what would Zelda as a game of service be? The first thing that comes to my mind is a Four Swords style game, like a spin-off maybe. Maybe there's, like, you get your band of links together online or whatever, and you go through rotating in-game events, and maybe there's online support for your band of links, and you can, have different maps and different dungeons that come in and out, kind of like Splatoon. Or, maybe they just release them as normal DLC packs every so often, and the game just is almost like a Zelda where you start with only a couple dungeons, but by a year from now, there's triple that, kind of like how Splatoon slowly built out. Or, maybe they have all the links, all your individual teams of 4 links contribute to some sort of bigger ultimate goal, kind of like a Splatfest. Like, I don't know, but something like that could work and could turn Zelda into like a long play service in the same way that some other games are. I mean, they already sorted it with the DLC, but that's done now. So it's kind of like, is this to do that again with another Zelda, or are they going to go all in with something else? Like, I think an online Four Swords would be cool. As some sort of, like, maybe it's like $30, but then it slowly builds out over time, kind of like how they stacked ARMS over time.
That would catch my attention.
Right? Like, that could be cool. And I don't know if that
could be cool.
Yeah, I don't know if they're necessarily doing that, but, seeing them hire someone for in-game events certainly suggests they're doing something in line with what Furukawa was saying about this long play stuff. And actually, speaking of Splatfest, they did just announce a new one. It's going to be on the 16th.
Guacamole versus salsa?
Yes, Team Guacamole or Team Salsa. Where are you?
I don't know. They're both interchangeable.
No. Are they? No. One's spicy and one's like creamy.
No, because when I think salsa, I don't think anything spicy whatsoever.
Have you not been to Chipotle where they said you want mild, medium, or hot? I just had it for lunch. I'm
yeah,
telling you, it's spicy.
Exactly. There's mild salsa and then there's guac.
Yeah. I like guac, but I think I'm for sure Team Salsa. I have salsa on my stuff before I have guac all the time.
I don't know. I'm completely neutral.
Weird. I thought we might actually agree on this one, but it sounds like
because I don't know. Because I like guac on some things, and I like salsa on other things.
That's fair. All right, let me ask you.
And when I go to Chipotle, if I can put both, I'll put both.
You can put both. One just costs you extra money, which is probably why I don't do it. Now that I think about it.
Nothing. So it doesn't really matter to me.
All right. Well, good thing you don't really.
It's a pointless Splatfest.
It's not pointless. Someone out there is an avocado warrior. And someone out there is a tomato warrior. I can't think of another word for warrior. Tomato knight. So they'll duke it out. You don't have to duke it out. But
I didn't even play the Ninja Turtle Splatfest.
Which is surprising because Ninja Turtles. Fine. Well, here's a different question. More broadly speaking. I mean, it sounds like the Splatfest don't engage you. So if Nintendo is really going...
I went to the Halloween one where they changed it up. I didn't even log in to see what it looked like.
It looked pretty. But
I know I saw videos.
This all leads to a different question now that you're saying
Add stuff to Salmon Run and that'll get me to come
They are. New map.
When?
Coming soon. I think this month. They just put out version 4.2.0 and that's one of the things they promised was a new map for Salmon Run.
Then I guess that'll make me come back to check it out.
But so what? Okay, so it sounds like you have very specific wants and needs that get you to go back to games. So let me ask you this: if every single game were to become some sort of game as service, or they do this long play thing, as Furukawa referred to it as, how do you feel about that? How do you feel about games basically never ending now?
That's fine.
Like, regardless of scope and size, all your games just perpetually going on.
I feel like that model is should have been used with Odyssey already.
They've been like dabbling in it. We get new snapshot filters. We get new costumes.
The filters are pointless. The costumes are stupid.
Hey.
The costumes.
It's called memes, and about 1% of players do them. So
Let me rephrase. The costumes themselves, the way they're designed and they look, are not stupid.
But the fact that that's all it is.
What I think that is stupid is that they're charging you so much money for them. Like,
what? In game.
In game.
I thought you meant real money. I'm like, no, it's free.
Like, when I at the time when I 100% in Odyssey, I bought the skeleton costume that cost like 9,999 coins, and then so like and it takes a while to get those coins. You really have to grind to get them. So getting that costume is kind of a pain. Because you still have to buy the other ones that you still have to save up money to buy. And then here comes the DLC costumes, which cost like money in the thousands. And it's like, oh, so you're telling me there's already nothing left to do in the game except just grind more coins to get these costumes? Why don't you just give me the costumes? So I don't have to keep replaying the same minigames over and over again.
That's kind of silly.
Like, just give me the costumes. They look cool. Don't make me replay the same minigame 100 times just so I can afford it.
No, that makes sense.
At least in the Mario Anniversary, they included all those sprites of Captain Toad and Luigi to give you a bunch of coins.
Right. And they're all dancing. Just
keep that active, at least. But then that makes it even pointless, because then you have to do that every time to get costumes. Like, I don't know. I feel like they're like dropping the ball in Mario Odyssey.
I kind of,
making it worse and worse.
In a weird way, I kind of like the fact that Mario Odyssey's main gameplay just like ended. Like, it's nice to be like, I beat that game and know, and this is in general with this long play stuff, to me, personally. I kind of like, and granted I never beat my games, but let's say I did hypothetically. I kind of like the idea of saying, this is done now. Like, you don't watch a movie, and then 2 years later, like, by the way, we added an extra 10 minutes, you gotta go back. It's like, wait, what? Like, I get...
That does happen, though.
Director's cuts, I guess. Yeah, that's true, but...
Yeah.
Bad example.
Sometimes there's also alternate endings.
That's true. Yeah, Blade Runner has like 7, I know. I didn't even... When I wanted to watch Blade Runner for the first time, I didn't even know which Blade Runner to watch.
Yeah, going back to Blade Runner, exactly. Like, you have one with the narration, then you have one without. So, like, which one do you watch? Do you want one with the extra scene, or do you want one with
okay, that's fair. But I don't know, I kind of like...
I already watched the original one in theater. Like, oh, yeah, but the version you saw was the edited one.
Is the one that the director didn't want.
So that means I have to go back and wait and buy it again later?
Fine, let me rephrase that. I think it's true for movies for me too. I think I like the concept of I have finished the thing, it is done.
Well, I mean, you have to finish it first.
I know, I already made that point a second ago. But it's like I'm not against this at all. Like, there's only benefits, and there's nothing stopping me from staying at that finished state. I don't have to keep going. But it is nice to know, like, oh yeah, I saw everything there was in game.
I mean, that's how I am with Splatoon. Like, I mean, I beat the game. They added more. They added the Octo expansion.
You're not going back.
Yeah, I'm just like, I'm satisfied.
But I mean, I do get for people who are into these games heavily, with Odyssey, it makes sense.
Well, I don't know. Maybe it's because I felt like it was a fun ride, but then the ending sucked.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, the ending, like...
Yeah, I know your feelings on the ending. Yeah.
It was just anticlimactic. But, I don't know. I just feel like I want more. And also, not to mention the fact that, like, I feel like the groundwork is there, like, to, like, let me replay some Sunshine.
The fact that they haven't done an Isle... Yeah, the fact they haven't done Isle Delfino.
Yeah, different kingdoms of different, like, Mario versions. Like, it seems like a given for Odyssey, but... It's like, I guess I have to wait 5 years for the next one, I guess.
I don't even know what they're doing,
exactly.
Mario,
it's like, what are they going to do?
Yeah, but well, presumably with this new long play strategy, they will come out with content, kingdom content eventually.
Or maybe the problem was me all along. Maybe I've just gotten...
The problem was inside.
Because maybe the reason the other Mario games took me longer to beat was maybe not because... Well, they were definitely harder. I can't attest to that. But... Yeah. Maybe also, like, I've just gotten better at gaming in general, that when this one came around, like, it just didn't stand a chance. That when I beat it,
maybe.
It just felt... And maybe I also just rushed it too fast. I don't know. Because, I mean, it was just so fun I couldn't stop playing it. It was like, I can't stop. And then I beat it, and then it's like, that's it.
I like your anecdote. It was so fun I couldn't stop playing it. And I was like, I can't stop. Like, yep, if it was so fun you couldn't stop, you probably did declare you can't stop. Yeah. But no, I know what you mean. Yeah, I totally get what you mean. So maybe for something like Mario, it does make sense for them to do this. More so than some other games, and yet weirdly they're not. But they're doing it with Kirby and Travis Strikes Again.
I mean, I feel it makes more sense for Mario than for Zelda.
Yeah. But then Zelda had that job listing where it's like, well, are they really dabbling in it? So it's a lot of questions with no real answers at the point. I mean, I do get the appeal of it. Like, it's free content or affordable DLC. It adds to the overall value. It's great for folks who don't buy as many games. It gives them more to do and play. Likewise, of course, there's a huge business side to it, which I understand completely. I mean, like maybe I want something done, but like for one thing, it lets Nintendo continue to sell these games at their full $60 MSRP for way longer because there's constantly new value being added. Like I get that. Like okay, yeah, I bought my Mario and I got my $60 worth, and I want to stop there. But 6 years from now, when Mario's the old game, someone's gonna be like, well, to me that's only $40 worth because it's old now. And while that doesn't make sense because it's the exact same content, I do understand that this helps counter that a little. And it also lets Nintendo have like, I guess you call them more active games for a longer period of time, like in the marketplace at once. Like they're more, when they run commercials for the Switch right now, at the end of the commercial, they always throw the Switch in front of a wall of games. And it's because those games are still relevant in some way and useful. And they can continue to pump out new titles, but they can also give old titles a boost by doing stuff like this. So I do get it. And I also get that, like for in-game events, this is a very easy way to sell Switch Online as a service. Because you only get to do the event if you're paying for Switch Online. So it's almost like they're getting double the money now. Because they get the money from the DLC plus, or the original purchase, plus now they're getting your monthly fee. And what's kind of interesting is Furukawa did not give hard numbers in the presentation, but he did share that, to Nintendo's surprise, over half of all Switch Online subscribers opted to do the 1-year plan versus the monthly plan. And I am very confused as to why that's a surprise to them. If you know you need it to play online, and you know you're going to need it for Smash, like how many people are going to buy it and be like, nah, I'm just going to cancel it, but I'll buy it again in 2 months. Like, no, you're just going to buy the year because it's significantly cheaper. Like, why did they think people would buy it monthly that frequently? I don't know. But anyway, to Nintendo's credit, all the long-term play stuff does seem to be working so far. I mean, it's evident by the fact that we just talked about how, those evergreen titles keep selling. Their digital sales are up apparently nearly 72%, according to the presentation. But perhaps most notably, they're able to do this without interfering with their other new releases on Switch. Like Furukawa pointed out that Octopath Traveler, over 1 million copies sold. And also that nearly half of all Switches on the planet Earth have downloaded Fortnite. That's a lot. That's like 11 million people downloading Fortnite.
Wow.
Yeah, on just Switch. And then similarly, we're hearing from Capcom that they're saying all their ports and compilations on Switch are doing well, specifically in the West. Street Fighter and Mega Man collections, they're selling well, and they're describing Monster Hunter Generation sales as robust on Switch, which is a nice cryptic way of saying it could be anything from adequate to great, but it's something they're not saying bombed, which is progress. So it's not like anything's hindered or hurt by the long play thing, but I do wonder what happens if Nintendo does this when every game becomes kind of long played. Like when every game becomes a mini service of its own, when every game or the majority of games suddenly have these never ending things. Like at that point, you're competing for time against yourself. And it's hard to say what wins out. Like in my mind, it's almost like a second layer of the ongoing too many game problem. Because Furukawa highlighted that there are 1,300 titles available for Switch now from 500 different companies worldwide, which is great for variety. But if you're competing not just against other new releases in the same window as you, but now you're also competing not just against the evergreens on top of that, but also all these little smaller titles that all have like new DLC or new characters or new whatever. It's just, it seems like it seems ripe for more games to get buried. So I mean, I don't have an answer. Like short term, it's not going to be a problem for them. They'll be fine. At least going into this holiday, it can only help Nintendo's momentum. Any game that can push towards 20 million Switches sold will do it. And more games of note mean more opportunities.
Having Smash Brothers available before Black Friday have helped?
I think that's partly why the bundle came out in November. But they did launch Smash Brothers Melee.
I mean, I guess
in the same week of December a year ago.
Before Black Friday, or I guess buy eShop cards for the.
Yeah, I mean they've had preloaded since the Direct. Yeah. The bundle comes with it, so I
can literally buy the digital card at Best Buy. So
yeah, so I think they're fine.
Yeah.
So they have that plus the fact that history has shown they released Melee on the same week of December in 2001, and it worked just fine.
So for the, I forgot what they're called. That place where you get the numbers from.
The financial report? This is all from Nintendo directly, or do you mean NPD?
NPD.
So NPD is only U.S. numbers.
Oh, okay.
Yes,
well, regardless. So we've established in the past that NPD doesn't cover eShop games, right?
Correct.
So if you buy the card at Best Buy for Smash Brothers,
I don't know. I think they're not included. I think they're not included because they count physical sales, and they do have a separate category for.
But I mean, it's scanned that Smash Brothers was sold. Is what I'm confused about.
That's a very good question.
Who can
Now
I
they
ask?
do have a category.
There's
Someone on Twitter.
An email I can reach.
There is a NPD analyst. There's an NPD analyst on Twitter, Matt something Piscatalia. That's not the right last name. Is
he an Episcopalian?
No, because that's not his last name. I got it wrong. But he is really good at answering questions. A lot of the insights and more deeper level stats that I share usually come from him. So we can tweet him.
Would he actually respond to me?
Possibly. He'll get a ton, so maybe.
I guess I'll.
You're gonna do it live on the air?
I guess I'll give it a go.
All right. Well, let me get you his name. Everyone, we're live tweeting on the Ram Nintendo podcast. It's happening, whether you want to or not. His name. Hang on, let me get on my phone. This is the type of quality content that people look for. Like live tweeting live.
We must know whether buying a digital card counts towards MPD sales in the U.S.
Matt, his last name, and this is good for anyone that's interested in sales. Like all the stuff I've been rambling for the last 20 minutes. Like honestly, this dude's worth following. He has some great insights.
Matt with 2 T's?
M-A-T. I did get his last name right. Piscatella.
Oh,
Piscatella. Anyway, feel free to tweet him. Everyone, feel free to tweet him, but don't tell him we sent you. But no, he gives some great insights. So yeah, that question can be answered there.
Looks like I can send him a message.
Yes, because that's how Twitter works. Oh, you mean a private message?
A private message, yeah.
Yeah, do it.
I thought you have to friend each other in order to send private messages.
They have opened that up on Twitter. Wow, this is a great Twitter learning opportunity for everyone, isn't it? But my point is, what I was getting at
be polite.
Is you're actually good. Okay, go ahead. Yeah. Type it out loud.
Hello, Mr. Piscatella. I am writing you.
Are you writing with a quill pen or something? It's been a long war. We've been in the trenches for 2 weeks, but I missed you dearly, Miss Piscatella.
I have a question you may know the answer to.
You know what? Do this after. I'm just gonna keep talking. The thing I was going to say, just to wrap up the Switch conversation about mean or 20 million, is at this point, any game, long play, short play, evergreen, new, is going to help hit that goal. More games, more opportunities. And there's one thing to consider that we haven't talked about, and that is, yes, the holidays matter, but in January, Nintendo's also releasing new Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe, which in and of itself is likely to be a big performer for them in a month where they usually don't have anything. So that may help too. Especially if people got a Switch and need more games, or are gonna buy a Switch and want a game, and then there's a new Mario, using their gift cards or whatever. So it could work. And the thing is, even if Nintendo doesn't hit their Switch goal, they'll be fine. I mean, it's an arbitrary goal they set. It's at most a PR blunder. They're still raking in money through Switch and elsewhere. I mean, just to give you an idea, we spent a lot of time focusing on the hardware goal of 20 million and individual game sales, but it's worth noting that across the whole library of Switch games, Switch has sold, in just the first half of this fiscal year, 42 million games. That is 91% higher than a year ago. The one thing that's weirdly still unknown is Labo. Nintendo only dedicated one quick slide to it in the presentation. They said that they expect sales to, quote, accelerate during the holidays because it's a good gift for kids. We don't know by just how much or how little, given what it's doing. We don't know by how much it'll accelerate or what the sales numbers look like for the vehicle kit or where the brand is going to stand at this point or beyond. But even then, even if Labo bombs, everything else Nintendo is doing is going to rake in a ton of money for them. So yeah, this lofty 20 million goal is something they want to hit. It's something we spent a lot of time talking about. But in the grand scheme of things, they're still going to make money. They're still going to get great sales. Even if they don't hit 20 million this fiscal year, they'll probably hit 16, 17, 18, 19. So they'll be fine. And you gotta consider everything else they got going on. How's that tweet coming?
Almost done.
Okay. But what I was gonna say is you gotta consider everything else going on, because take for example the 3DS. Nintendo continues to push it as this low budget entry level system during this holiday season. They're even going as far as releasing a new special edition 2DS for Black Friday. It's bundled with Super Mario Maker. It's colored in kind of a similar red-yellow style. It comes complete with a little 8-bit really Mario stamped on it. It does look nice. It has a decidedly...
It made me go, man, I kind of want that, but I'm not going to buy it.
It does have kind of a toyish look to it, more so than some other 2DS, but that makes sense because that's absolutely what the purpose of the system is at this point in its life. It's easy money for Nintendo. They know the demographic they're targeting, so they're going after it. And, we always talk about how 3DS sales are waning, and they are. Let's be clear, they are. Only 1 million 3DS systems and 2DS systems combined, 3DS family, only 1 million of those were sold in the first half of this fiscal year. That's pretty low. But consider going into the holidays with a pure profit machine like this. Even if it is 1 million, that's 1 million in pure profit. And consider the fact that even though they only sold 1 million up till now, they sold 6.27 million games. That's, again, just a lot of money for Nintendo to not take advantage of being able to make. So a year from now, like, who knows where the 3DS will stand. Furukawa even said during the financial briefings Q&A that he feels this holiday season in particular may be the one where 3DS peaks. And, it peaks in this, like, I should clarify, it peaks in, like, the diminished role as an entry-level system. Like, it already peaked. But now it's like, is it going to peak again as this kind of, like, baby's first console? Cool. But you know what? Like, even if it peaks this year, might as well leverage that. Like, it's going to bring in cash for Nintendo. It's going to prime some youngins to become Nintendo fanboys. It's win-win. I did find it funny in the financials. Furukawa, throughout the Q&A, whenever somebody would ask him about the 3DS, he'd always play up how Switch is also a handheld. So, to me, it sounds like he's personally ready to move on, even if Nintendo still wants to make the last bits of money. But I would be surprised if the 3DS is here next holiday, based on everything he's saying and his tone and everything. But for now, it's a moneymaker. So even if Switch underperforms a little, you got 3DS boosting it, you got NES Classic and Super NES Classic. Together, they're making tons of money for Nintendo. They've sold combined over 10 million units. 3.69 million were just in the last quarter alone. They're going to be good, if albeit a bit pricey, stocking stuffers. They're going to do great. They finally have inventory at levels that are good. So, it's easy money for Nintendo. Easy money. But then, of course, you got mobile on top of both of those. And this is the last...
More problems.
Huh?
That's more problems, though.
More problems? More problems?
Oh, you really...
I really struggled. I think I strained something. That was... Whew. But yeah, mobile's interesting because it's another revenue stream for Nintendo. But it's a bit of a smaller one. I mean, they brought in 164 million last quarter, which is up 4% year over year. What's interesting is that number barely includes Dragalia Lost. Dragalia Lost was out for like a week before the quarter ended. And by all accounts, it seems like it's off to a good start. Nintendo says that they've had over 1 million pre-registrations for the game before it came out. And then Sensor Tower, the data firm, seems to corroborate that with their own data. They estimate the game brought in $28 million in Japan and the US during its first month, which makes it the second strongest Nintendo mobile game launch. I think it's only behind Fire Emblem Heroes, which made somewhere around double that, like 48-50 million. And for comparison...
I'm kind of happy it's doing well just because it's a new IP.
Yes, me too. Me too. Good. It's interesting because, Furukawa, he explained in the presentation...
I'm hoping the next game they do is not, like, as safe.
Yeah, well, what's funny about this one is the only reason it's doing so well in Nintendo's mind... I mean, yeah, because it's a new IP, is... Furukawa said during the Q&A of the presentation that it's because of the brands. So in the West, having it be a quote-unquote Nintendo game helped propel it here. And in Japan, having it be a quote-unquote Cygames project helped it propel over there. So without those, yeah, this would have done well. But because it has those, that's why it's doing well. That's why it's second behind Fire Emblem. That's why it's... Here's another stat from Sensor Tower. Mario Run when it came out made $20 million in its first month. Animal Crossing made $13 million. Dragalia Lost is at 28 already. Like, to give you an idea of the gap here, Dragalia is ahead of Animal Crossing by 81%. Animal Crossing. Top tier Nintendo franchise. This is ahead of that. And more significantly than that is the ratio of purchases per player. Like, Dragalia was, according to Sensor Tower, only, and I use that term loosely, it was only downloaded by an estimated 1.3 million people. Meaning that each person spent, on average, $18 in the game. Granted, it's an average. Like, I spent nothing. I think you spent nothing.
Yeah.
I don't think I've spent a single penny in a single Nintendo mobile game. Pokemon Go doesn't count. It's Niantic.
How much did you spend on Go?
Like $12 ever total. Maybe 15.
What'd you buy again?
More Pokeballs and... No, more storage. Oh, yeah, more storage. I bought Poke Coins to get more storage to hold more items and more Pokemon.
So you didn't buy Pokeballs?
I might have at some point, actually, bought Pokeballs too. Okay, so I've actually... All right, coming clean. I spent $562 in Pokemon Go. No, it's...
in Pokeballs. The thing you can get for free.
Only if you, like, are at the right place at the right time. That made no sense. But yeah, the thing you can get for free in limited quantities. But...
Let me defend you for once. But you do... I did notice you've caught about 2,000 Pokemon, so I guess... You having to buy Pokeballs at some point was justified.
Thank you for sticking up for me in your own attack of me. It's much appreciated. But yeah, so Gesundheit. But in Gesundheit again.
You always might as well wait until I'm done.
Yeah. Well, that was only 2. Usually it's 4.
That is true.
That is true. But anyway, what I was going to say is Dragalia is crazy because $18 per player. Like, that's the single best performance per player of any Nintendo mobile release so far. Fire Emblem Heroes, that's number 2. That only made a third. That was about $6 per player. So, even if we're not buying the money in Nintendo's mobile games, some people seem to be very invested. But us excluded, it is going to be interesting to see just like how high Nintendo's mobile sales numbers are going to go now that we know Dragalia is doing well and bringing in this much money. We didn't really get any sense of it in the presentation because it's too new, but it does seem what I could gather from what Furukawa was saying is Nintendo's other mobile games are pretty much maintaining a status quo at this point. Like, Dragalia is the one to watch. Like Mario Run, they continue to point out, it's creeping towards 300 million downloads worldwide. Here we go. But it does seem like they're finally comfortable with the fact that the game is not going to do suddenly this huge boost in sales. Like, remember they were originally saying, we were disappointed by the profit. It's too low. It underperformed. Now they're just like, yeah, it's an evergreen mobile title. People download it when they get new phones. They'll play it. We're good. So they seem to kind of have come to terms with what it actually is. Then you got Fire Emblem Heroes. It is growing at a steady rate. It's actually now, for the first time, making... it has more players outside Japan than inside Japan. Which, considering Fire Emblem barely at one point was going to be in the West, like they almost canceled it entirely, that's pretty impressive. But that's just kind of, creeping along at the same rate. And then you've got Animal Crossing Pocket Camp. It seems like from how Nintendo worded it, it leveled off its player base a bit. And it does skew towards women, kind of interestingly. But Nintendo's going to be tweaking in-game monetization to make up for the fact that this player base is kind of flattened. So we're supposedly going to see updates to both Fire Emblem and Animal Crossing. But who knows if that's going to propel them in a meaningful way. Who knows if that's even going to get people to come back to them. I mean, is there anything that would draw you back to those games? For me, I think it's like I'm done.
So Animal Crossing?
Or Fire Emblem Heroes.
Nothing.
That's kind of my attitude. Like, at this point, I'm ready for Mario Kart Tour.
I don't really know what they could do in Animal Crossing. And it sucks because I like the concept of Animal Crossing on your phone.
Yeah, it wasn't... They said they're going to add some new gameplay dimensions or something. Like, they're going to expand the gameplay variety. But, I'll just play Animal Crossing on Switch or Animal Crossing. Like, at this point, I'm more interested in what they're going to do with Mario Kart Tour, which is still supposed to be out before end of this fiscal year, so by March 31st. But we have no idea what that's going to be. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see, like, when we do this whole song and dance with the financials next quarter. It'll be interesting to see where Dragalia rates compared to these other ones, and how if it brings up Nintendo's total mobile money and all that. And that really does bring us to the end of the financial news from Nintendo. However, there is one other area of note that does make Nintendo a ton of money, is probably worth mentioning, and that's those IP partnerships. So none of these will make a difference this holiday. None of this has to do with the 20 million goal. But looking beyond just the holidays, you got stuff like the Mario and Detective Pikachu movies. You got the Universal theme park. All of this is a whole separate revenue stream for Nintendo that they never had before. I mean, even something like Pokemon Go, when we were talking about it a minute ago, that's a game Nintendo barely has any first-hand involvement in until very recently. It's this whole money flow they just didn't have. Like in October, Pokemon Go made $76 million. That is 67% more than it made October of last year. Like, it's having a big comeback. And Nintendo just gets a third of it. Like, here you go. Here's some free money. I mean, yeah, they're integrating with Let's Go, Meltan, all that, sure. But, they're leveraging it as a marketing tool. But, like, it's basically free money for Nintendo. So those partnerships are going to continue. But what I'm building towards here is that there's been some interesting and potentially exciting news popping up in the world of Nintendo partnerships in a different direction, and I'm referring to the rumor of a Zelda television show. So the report stems from...
Oh, boy.
Yeah, the report stems from the usually very reliable The Wrap, who claims that the guy who produces the Castlevania animated series for Netflix, whose name I am blanking out on at the moment.
Me too.
I think his last name is like Shankar.
something.
Or something, but I don't know what his first name is. Anyway, he's in talks with Nintendo, supposedly, to produce a Zelda show. And he also posted on his own Instagram a note saying that he's working with an iconic Japanese game company on an iconic video game series, and he'll reveal it on the 16th. Now, technically, that description does apply to pretty much anything. Like, even Castlevania would have fit that bill if it didn't already exist.
It's going to be a Monster Hunter show.
You think? Is it going to be set with Marines in the future going back to the past?
It's going to be a proper Monster Hunter show.
But the Wrap disagrees. The Wrap seems pretty confident it's Zelda, but they don't know anything beyond that.
Well, they're dumb.
I mean, let's run with the Zelda thing though. Let's say it is like what will it be animated? Will it be live action? What will the story be? Will it follow
Link
games?
talk?
Will it go in its own direction? Now here's the thing: I don't actually want Link in it at all. Here's my problem with that. I think the fact that Link has been silent this long and has been pitched as this sort of avatar connecting the player of Zelda to the world of Hyrule means that it's pretty much impossible for him to be included in whatever form the show takes without getting shades of cheese or cringe of the old Zelda cartoon. Like, I don't think there's a way they can make Link not cringy, because his role has always been your avatar, basically, your silent avatar. However, I do think there's a ton of potential to explore the Zelda world, either in animation or live action. Like, they can easily do something set in the history of Hyrule, maybe show how Ganondorf rose to power within the royal family, something like that. Like, I'd even be on board with some sort of, like, multifaceted power struggle story like Game of Thrones. I just don't think Link should be there or part of it. Like, I think it'd be better if it's, like, an expanded universe. What?
Samuel Dietz.
Who's that?
Director of Castlevania.
No, not the director, the producer.
Oh, producer.
Yeah, the guy that basically spearheaded the whole project and made it a reality. Addy Shanker. I looked it up. Anyway, and it's funny that we talk about him because Castlevania.
Powerhouse Animation is in Austin, Texas.
Sure, but
that's the animation studio.
I wonder if they're even involved. Like, what would you?
They're the ones that animated it.
No, I mean with Zelda too. Like, what would you want to see? Like, I'm being very clear. I don't want Link, but like, what would you want out of Zelda? Would you prefer animation, live action, Link in it, Link not? Because
animated.
You think that would work better for the Zelda world? Because like Game of Thrones, in theory, shows you could do that sort of setting.
I don't know.
It is a little cringier when they try and do real life.
I mean, Game of Thrones is cringy.
It's not, but okay.
I mean,
personal opinions, I know.
Yeah.
Yours just happens to be wrong, but that's fine.
I mean,
I'm kidding. Anyway, but yeah, like,
I don't know. I don't really have anything. I don't really
just
know
don't
what
want
I would
Link.
want.
I just don't want Link.
Maybe we just shouldn't have a Zelda show.
Well, let me ask you this. Because you did mention the production, the director and the animation studio and all that of Castlevania. Like, that's pretty well received, right? It just got picked up for season 3 by Deadline, or according to Deadline.
Yeah, I mean, they do
Netflix picked it up. Like, have you
they
watched any of it?
I watched an episode.
How is it? Like, is this guy, this Addy Shanker guy, is if Zelda becomes reality, is it in good hands based on what you've seen of Castlevania?
It seems like it. I mean, it would definitely be, if it's anything like the Castlevania, I guess it'd be geared towards like a more adult audience, which I don't know if that's what Nintendo would want.
I mean, at one point they almost did a live action Zelda with Amazon. So
I mean, I feel like they would want like something that is good for all ages.
I could see them doing a PG thing.
They would have like really awesome fight scenes, but it's very animated in a very anime kind of way. Mm-hmm. So I don't know. I mean, I don't know.
See, that almost
that's almost that. I know that kind of stuff can be polarizing to some people, just like the way that moves.
I feel like it's not that weird for Zelda. I mean, they already have the Zelda mangas that come out in the West, and they also, like I don't know how weird it's that being weird. Link's design lends itself well to anime. Mm-hmm. His face already looks a little anime.
No, yeah, I mean,
I think if they were to do an animated one, it would have to be that sort of, whether real or like pseudo, but anime. Yeah,
definitely.
But is the animation good in Castlevania? Like, you're an animation buff. Like, is Powerhouse or whatever their name is? Do they pull it off? Like, if they were basically clone Castlevania but make it Zelda, would that work?
Mean, it feels like a high budget anime, so. I mean, that's always a good thing.
Right.
It pretty much means you don't have characters as static as usual. Mm. It animates like the Boondocks, let's put it that way.
Oh, that's an interesting comparison. Well, not where I thought you were going, but okay.
Because the Boondocks, like, I mean, the way that show is animated is not like a traditional American show.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Like, it's not like The Simpsons where characters are more like, I don't know, I guess for lack of a better term, fluid.
Yeah. It's more like real life, kind of stiff.
Yeah, I don't know. It's kind of weird.
Because American cartoons are very flowy, I feel like.
But that was also the intention for the Boondocks when they made it, especially because like when they do have fight scenes, they're like way over the top. It's like they spent their whole budget on those.
Right. But I will say, like, whatever form I guess Zelda takes, it is.
I mean, it seems like it's in good hands if it's real. And
I mean, that's what's nice and rather refreshing about like all of Nintendo's current media partnerships.
It would be kind of interesting to see Zelda join like almost like a normal Like, oh, everyone has seen the new Zelda show, even people that don't care about video games.
Right? Wouldn't that be kind of... And that's ultimately what Nintendo's goal is, like with all the other media projects. But what's nice is, like what I was trying to say is that, like...
So you're saying you prefer almost like a Gotham, except just less Batman?
Yeah. That's exactly what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I don't know, like, Link isn't a character. Link is you. You are Link. His name is Link because he's linking you. Like, he should not be his own thing. Make a new character.
I mean, Breath of the Wild kind of made him Link. I mean, you can't even change his name. He's Link in that one.
Yeah, but he's still,
If
like,
anything,
he still doesn't talk. He's still kind of a conduit for
doesn't-
you as a person, as a
I mean,
player.
he doesn't talk, but I don't know. It almost kind of makes him mysterious. It's like, I want to know more about his backstory. Like, what made him that way? Because he's obviously, like,
That's true. There are
that is a
cutscenes
character.
where him and Zelda are
Yeah,
interacting
he's
and all
like
that.
he's
but-
like committed, but also like to a fault. He's too loyal. So like, I like what's his deal? Like, what happened to him?
Yeah, I guess I could
Because-
see it playing out. I just don't like him talking. I don't know. That's weird to me.
I don't know. They could figure out some brilliant way to have him not talk.
No, but then that's just weird.
I don't know. That's
Like, that's why I'm like, just
it's
avoid
weird
Link
because
entirely.
It's weird because we don't have the capacity to think of a way to make it not. Weird.
I don't have the mental capacity to think of Link with a voice, honestly.
Exactly.
That goes beyond yeah, and that's
That's why we're not writers.
That makes sense. Hey, I'm a writer. I write these beautiful outlines for every episode.
This no.
I'm not a fiction writer, or even a writer of prose. I just bullet things. But
you puke on your computer keyboard and
then
comes out.
regurgitate it verbally a day or two later. Yeah, but what I was going to say, though, is to your point about, like, it's in good hands if it is this company. It is nice that Nintendo's current partnerships, like, they do seem to care about putting out quality product this time around. Like, they know it'll reflect on the IP poorly if they don't. And it seems like a silly thing to be like, wow, Nintendo cares. But, like, given how badly it all went down the first time with Mario and Zelda and all that, it's nice to know that, like, Nintendo's at least aware and working to prevent it. I don't know. I think where that became most apparent to me recently was there's this interview with the founder of Illumination. They're the studio doing the Mario movie, right? And he was telling Variety that they're putting Miyamoto, quote-unquote, like, front and center, their words, in the creative process just to ensure that's not a repeat of the old Mario movie. Like, they identified that as one of the big flaws. And he went on to say how they aren't falling into the pitfall of, like, the mindset that Hollywood knows better than the creator of how to make their project into a movie. And to me, like, whether that pans out remains to be seen, but to me that seems like a really positive step in the right direction. And we're already seeing it kind of, we're seeing this sort of new approach already happening with Detective Pikachu as well. So there are these early test screenings of the movie. So first, Pokemon Company had a similarly big, important central role in Detective Pikachu as Miyamoto supposedly does for Illumination with Mario. And there's been these early test screens of Detective Pikachu. A site called Super Bro Movies claims to have inside info on how the first one went. I have no idea whether this is legit or not. I can confirm, you can confirm, we can confirm 100% the test screening has in fact happened. It is real, but whether this is the feedback or not is up in the air. But assuming they're telling the truth, what they're saying is that the movie's actually really good, potentially the best video game movie ever. Ryan Reynolds, he apparently nails the being Pikachu. He has good chemistry with the human lead, played by Justice Smith, I think.
Justin Roiland?
No, I think it's Justice Smith. He's definitely not Justin Roiland. There's no, like, I don't know, Pikachu, like, none of that. But, like, the CGI is supposed to be good. While not done, like, Pikachu looks well and it all fits well and that sort of thing.
They make Pikachu furry or just make
Well,
him,
so
like,
apparently they are going for they
finish?
apparently are going for hyper realistic. So I suspect he's furry, but he's probably like, he probably has some mousse or something in his fur to mat it down, give it that straw like texture that people with gel in their hair have. I don't know, but what's supposedly cool about this is so the movie itself is good. It needs to be what it needs to be, but it also has a bunch of deeper nods and Easter eggs for diehard fans, but not in a way supposedly that drags down the movie as a standalone story. So the fact that they're able to cater to both audiences and apparently successfully do it because they got the people that know the franchise best, Pokemon Company, involved, gives me a lot of hope that Mario will do the same thing and really that everything Nintendo's doing with these media partnerships will work in a similar way. Because, Nintendo, they're sort of the parent company of Pokemon Company, so if this works for Pokemon Company, I don't know why it wouldn't work for Nintendo proper. And, we're hearing about this approach with everything. Like, even Universal Studios, apparently Miyamoto's very heavily involved in the theme park for Nintendo. So I'm pretty confident, given all that if this Zelda show turns out to be real, whatever form it takes, it's going to be pretty cool. And it's probably going to do, represent the franchise well and only grow the franchise bigger. To your earlier point, like, wouldn't it be weird if people are like, did you watch the new Zelda or whatever? Like, this could be a cool moment. So we'll see. But the ducks are all kind of lining up in a row correctly here. So I'm pretty confident.
The eggs are lining up.
Yeah, they're not ducks yet. That's true. But eggs can't line up.
Don't count them until they
hatch. I know. Those are chickens, but fair.
Yeah. I mean, same idea.
I know. Anyway,
Jesus.
Let's switch to the final thing, the final topic of the episode, which is what we've been playing for our final act of our episode's fighting theme.
Yes, and I have been playing God of War again, revisiting it right before Smash Brothers comes out because.
Oh, that's not all. I thought you were going to say.
I really have to beat that game before it comes out, and it just keeps getting better. I thought they scaled back on the God of War-ness of it, where you fight like there are these giant things and it makes you feel tiny, but no, they kept it in there.
What is happening right now? Where did that come from?
I mean,
I didn't even know you were playing it. I mean, it's cool you're playing it.
I mean, of course I've been playing it. I have to play it before that. I haven't been playing Smash Brothers. I mean, I'm now, I think, 40 days sober at this point.
Okay, first of all, you played Smash Bros. With
42.
me. You played Smash Bros. With me, and I know that doesn't count in your mind, but if you do drugs with a friend, you're still doing the drug. I can't be like, well, I haven't snorted cocaine on my own, but I did do a bump with my buddy in the club, and you still did cocaine.
No, because it's a completely different game when I'm playing with friends. I'm not addicted to playing Smash Bros. With friends. I'm addicted to playing 1v1 online.
I'm not an alcoholic. I'm a social drinker. Okay. Fine.
I mean... I guess. Obviously that comparison.
And yes, I am comparing playing Smash Bros. To the worst vices you could think of and how you can harm your body. But whatever. The joke only works if I do. So besides God of War, which also has a fighting game, a fight to it, so sure, that kind of fits our theme. I was going to say we've been playing
Hearthstone because they just announced at BlizzCon, they just announced Rakasham's Rumble, which is the new expansion. And
rolls right off the tongue, doesn't it?
Yeah, I don't even know if I pronounced it right, but I'm pretty hyped for it. Trying to rank up right before that expansion comes out.
I'm curious. I'm gonna try this again. I wonder if you have a third. I really want to know. I'm gonna literally. I have the intro written down because I want to make sure I nailed it. For the final act of our episode's fighting theme, let's talk about what we've been playing, which is
Towerfall.
All right, go ahead. That works.
Played it a little bit.
You wanted to do impressions once you played 4-player, right?
Yeah,
because you've only done like 1-player.
Yeah, I've only done the single player, which is actually a 1 through 4 player, but it seems like it'd be a lot more fun with multiple people.
So you report back once you have?
Yeah, so I'll report back. Because that is a game that I am very hyped to talk about. But the game I really want to talk about is Siberia.
Where are these coming from? What is Siberia? Like, that is on Switch. Yeah. I'll give you that.
Yeah. I have not been playing it, though. I have no interest in that game. It looks like it's a port of an old game, if I'm not mistaken.
It is, yeah, and there's 2 of them, in fact.
Really?
I believe there's a Siberia, too.
Oh.
I don't know anything about it either. I didn't even know why you brought... Like, I never would have guessed I'd hear Siberia come out of your mouth.
I know if there's a woman or something like that.
It does have a woman in it, and it rendered with polygons.
Yeah, but I have been playing a little bit of Ultimate Chicken Horse, though.
Okay, so we'll start with that. Fine. Okay, that's when we actually told people we were going to talk about. And then after that, we'll do Brawlhalla, which brings our theme to a close and our episode to a close. But yeah, how is Ultimate Chicken Horse? Because that's a multiplayer first game, right? Or like a multiplayer centric.
Yeah, it's a multiplayer centric game, and like many, I mean, the title does kind of get your interest because it's like Ultimate Chicken Horse. Like, what is it like that horse game you play with basketball where you have to like match the shot that someone else did?
Is everyone there? It has Ultimate. Is everybody here?
I mean, I guess.
Is there a chicken and a horse?
All the animals that I assume they plan to put in there are in there.
So everybody's there. Sweet. Okay.
And while it is a multiplayer centric game, I did basically just play online to fill in the empty void. But the art style is it's not an artsy 2D platform. It's just a 2D platformer in the vein of Super Meat Boy. Like the controls are almost the same, and the way it looks is almost identical too. But so I almost brushed it off. Just like I don't really need this. But then a friend of mine, he kind of like told me about it. He saw some videos and he said it looked really interesting, and that kind of got me to look back at it again. And then I just bought it. I just took a chance on it, and it's really fun. It has a really interesting concept. Essentially, up to four people play on a very simple map. You just have a starting line and a finish line, and typically you could get to the finish line in, I would say, like less than 15 seconds. Mm-hmm. Like the first time you go through it, it's super easy. Barely an inconvenience. But then the second time, Then you have to replay that level, and everyone picks an obstacle. And then everyone has like 15 seconds or so to place that obstacle somewhere on the map to try to kill someone or just inconvenience them. And so then the round starts again.
Right.
And everyone goes through the same course, but now there's a few obstacles in the way, including your own. So you have to dodge your own obstacle because you obviously want to block everybody and you'll start in the same spot while dodging theirs and get to the point. If you manage to kill someone with the obstacle you placed, you get points even if you don't make it to the end. And if you win again, you obviously get points for that. You get points for winning first. And then you go through it again and everyone drops more obstacles. And you do it until you get enough points to win the round or to win the match. So by the end of it, there's just a bunch of obstacles, and you can place obstacles so that it's impossible to beat the level. But luckily they thought of that, and they created a bomb icon that, while unfortunately it does mean that you can't place an obstacle that turn, you can destroy a previously placed obstacle. And that's pretty much the game, just different layouts, different traps. You could play as a horse, a chicken, a raccoon, a sheep, a pig, like different barnyard animals. And it's really fun. It's a fun, hectic party game, kind of like...
It feels like what I would want, or it sounds like, I haven't played it, it sounds like what I would imagine a Runbow sequel would be if Runbow had to come up with a new way to do Color Master now that the Wii U gamepad doesn't exist. Know what I mean? I mean, technically Runbow you can use, I think, buttons to do the same basic idea. But like the idea of like, you're creating obstacles for other players and you try and win by making it difficult for other players reminds me of Runbow. But it sounds really fun. Is it local only? Or
it's both. So you could do local...
I did give you the second option, but
local only or online only.
There you go. Yeah,
that's how
so it is online.
Yeah, you could play exclusively online or you could play exclusively local. It's up to you.
Right.
The choice is yours.
Interesting.
Yeah, it is an interesting game. I recommend it. It's only $14, $14.99 or $13.99. One of those.
And it's worth it at that price.
You know what? I would say so, but I'm feeling kind of hesitant. Maybe if you wait for a sale, I feel like $10 is perfect. Mm-hmm. But if you do have a constant stream of friends to play with, then I would say it definitely is.
Yeah, I mean you're our party host, so I could see it being worth it for you.
It's a very good. It could easily make a good drinking game. It's a good just party game. It's a good rage-inducing game. It's a game to balance between like your Mario parties, your crawls, your jackboxes. I mean, it's a nice fun
diversifies.
Variety. Yeah, and
it sounds very fun.
And it's another one that's unlike any other, because I mean this is a platform game, but it's like a race. It's almost like a racing platform.
See, again, the Rumbow comparison.
Yeah, but Rumbow, like Rumbow, I eventually get, but I mean, we also played Rumbow.
Well, I didn't mean
so it's nice to have another game. Yeah. I mean, it's different. The nice thing about this is that you are placing the traps unlike Rumbow, where everything is preset.
Right, unless you're the Color Master guy.
But is that even a thing on the Switch?
I think you might be able to do it through buttons. I don't know.
Who knows?
Yeah, like 4 directions, 4 different colors.
We'll find out eventually.
One day. In the meantime, there's another game we've been playing that I've been building towards for like 10 straight minutes here. Brawlhalla. The free-to-play Smash Bros. Before Smash Bros. The free-to-play Smash Bros. That isn't Smash Bros. And we've both been playing it.
Yeah.
I would say it's an interesting mix of fighters. Like, in a fun way. Like, structurally, it's Smash Bros. You got 2D fighting. You're knocking players off. It leverages a lot of the Smash mechanics, like, a button plus stick dictating different attacks, that sort of thing, or the ability to charge up your move by holding down button. But it also has multi-button combos, like a normal fighter, which is kind of interesting. And the true distinguisher, to me at least, is how the characters and the items work. Like, that's very different. Like, you choose a character, you pick where your little Valkyrie-like flying guy will drop, like what that guy looks like. You pick your color, you pick your weapons, and then when you're on the battlefield, what happens is generic weapon icons will pop up or plop down, and if you go over them and press Y, you gain your pre-assigned weapons. And there are some random items as well that you can grab, like bombs, spikes, this mines, this horn that calls in like a fireball thing.
Chariot thing.
But mostly you're using your pre-assigned weapons and making sure you can making sure that those help you win or lose the battle. Like, those are kind of the big deal. Like, the other stuff is just on top of it. It's the weapons, your weapons, that really make a difference. And it does try to distinguish itself from normal Smash beyond just that in, like, some small interesting ways. Like, you do wall jumps instead of ledge grabs. So there's no real, like, up B recovery we're talking about here. Instead, you just have multiple wall jumps, and they all have limited range, meaning you have to be near a wall to do the wall jump. But once you get to any surface, once you're touching a surface, you can perpetually just keep doing wall jumps. There's no crazy long range recoveries. They all be relatively short, but then you can kind of work your way up a ledge or whatever. I think some of the ways they tried to differentiate from Smash work better than others. I think they made a decision of putting each player's health on the top right corner of the screen, which really feels like it was done strictly to differentiate from Smash, having them along the bottom under the main battle. Honestly, in my opinion, they're kind of worse up top because you really need to look away from the gameplay to see everyone's health. But you also don't really need to look at that often, so it's not horrible. But some other decisions, like if a player disconnects when you're playing online, it automatically becomes a CPU. That's smart. I like the fact that it has a GG button at the end of each online match.
That's kind of what Smash Bros. Does, except it comes after like a laggy stutter.
This is instant, yeah.
And then all of a sudden, your opponent is playing like much worse and they're barely attacking, and you're like, oh. They're left. This
is definitely more instant, and it even tells you that, like, the player disconnected, you're now playing a computer. So I kind of like that. I am curious, as our fighting game aficionado on the Random Channel podcast, what do you think of the whole system with pre-assigning weapons and everything? Like, it is pretty different from Smash.
It's funny. I really like it because it makes it different. Like, we don't need another Smash clone that's trying to be Smash. This is like, we like the idea of Smash, so we're just gonna kind of take it and do our own thing with it. Like Brawlhalla. Yeah, it's fun, but it's trying to be Smash Brothers. Rivals of Aether is trying to be Smash Brothers. This one, it's like they took the concept of Smash Brothers and kind of fused it with ARMS.
That's an interesting comparison.
Because in ARMS, you have pre-assigned arms that you get. You actually get two, just like in this one, you have two weapons.
Right.
And the characters themselves don't really make a difference. Like, you're pretty much just picking how you want to look.
It's a stag thing.
Or you're really picking the characters mainly for the weapons that they provide, because the weapons drop onto the battlefield often enough that you're probably going to be playing with a weapon 90% of the time.
Yeah, it's like every few seconds.
And the weapon dictates pretty much how your character moves and fights. So if you like playing quickly, then you might want to get someone that has like the little shanks or like the guns. Or if you want a heavy character, then you might want to look for the hammer or like the lance. So it just comes down to like your arms, like the arms, like your...
your arms, like your weapons. Oh, yeah. I see what you did there.
Yeah, and it's really fun. And
I will say it's funny. It's similar. Or sorry, you're gonna say something else.
Yeah, and I like how the arms also like change your mobility sometimes too. Like your up B equivalent, which is your recover. You could do 3 total. You could either do 3 double jumps, or you could do a mix between up Bs and double jumps.
But again, it is worth mentioning as he's sneezing. It is worth mentioning that like the recoveries are not at all the same as like a Smash Bros. Like, you don't have the same range. It's all about getting to a wall and then wall jumping up the side.
Yeah, and everyone has the same identical ones. It's everyone just double jumps, or if you happen to have a cool weapon, you up B, and sometimes that makes a huge difference. Like, like one of the characters I was using has a lance that it's like a gas-powered lance, and you could charge it kind of like Diddy Kong's rocket barrels, and they could go really far up, and then they could jump again, and then move really far up again.
Right. So yeah, there is some flexibility there, but I will say it's funny because the weapon system makes it pretty different. Actually, the arms comparison is a really good one, but I did, just because it is so familiar in structure, like you're on a 2D plane and everything. When I started playing it for the first little while, I kept trying to play it like I was playing Smash Bros. Just like the muscle memory was there. But it is different enough that you can't actually get away with doing that. Like, I was doing horrible as a result.
You could only do like once every few seconds.
And like the jump button and the attack button are switched and that sort of thing. But like once you get the hang of it and shed some of that Smash muscle memory, it is pretty fun. I think the one thing that I was like, Smash does this better. Well, they're different. There's things that Smash does a lot better. But one thing that really jumped at me initially was I kind of miss having familiar faces. Like, it's kind of cool that Rayman's in it. You can unlock him. Shovel Knight's in it. There's rivals of Ether characters. But, like, I don't... Like, Cassidy, the random cowgirl, or, like, Koji, the random samurai.
Are you saying fighting games can only have... Like, pre-existing characters?
No. I'm not saying... I'm just
original
saying...
characers? Wow.
No, yeah,
It's not his fault that it's not a crossover bonanza.
All I want out of everything I do is familiarity. No, the thing that just struck me is when because it felt so much like Smash, I'm just like, it's weird that, like, I don't know who any of these people are. Which is fine. It's just when you combine it with the Smash muscle memory, I was just kind of like, this is... Yeah, this feels weird. But then once I got over that, it is fun. And, like, the nice thing...
Remember when Mario was, like, some random character that you
I'm saying it's fine. It just took me a second to adjust. I mean, I was actually using Scarlet and really like Scarlet. She's a witch, but she's a modern-day witch. She has, like, Digimon goggles on her head and stuff. She's great. But the one nice thing about this game that
look at ARMS. At least what it had going for it was that it actually had really cool characters that we ended up liking.
Okay, I get it. No, but I do. I wasn't trying to say it's a bad decision. I was trying to say when you're playing a game that your body's telling you this is Smash, and then you see characters you don't recognize, you're like kind of just confused. But I do like the fact that it's free to play. Anyone can jump in. You can just download and go. The downside, though, is that a lot of it is behind paywalls. Like having Rayman as a playable character, if you want Rayman, is actually kind of expensive. It's like 7,200 coins, and you only get double-digit ones per match when you win.
Yeah, you can use Rayman in training mode, but you can't use them online until you buy it.
Exactly, yeah. And it's also interesting because, like, I don't really know how the coin system fully works. Like, there were coins that you and I saw that we didn't know how to get or what to do with. Like,
yeah, at first I thought there was just the regular coins, but then there's mammoth coins, and then there's, like, skill coins, and yeah.
Yeah, and I don't really know. I mean, we'd have to dive deeper, but I don't really know
That's
whole...
the one annoying thing about free-to-play games. They always have, like, multiple layers of currency.
Yeah, it's like a currency to buy a currency to then spend on a third currency. But I will say that, like, between just regular fights and they have missions, so they have daily goals, kind of like any free-to-play game, where if you do one or two things in a day, they'll give you extra coins. Like that, I got, within 25 minutes of playing, I had 1,200 coins already, and Rayman 72, so like after a few days, you know, it's not that hard to unlock. I imagine the more you play, the more that slows down and it becomes more difficult to get coins or things get really expensive. But at least at first, like the missions are a nice way to give you more replayability. Sheer amount of stuff you can do in the game is also kind of nice. I mean, first of all, your characters you can customize as you could do in any free-play game at like great lengths, not just weapons but like accessories, color, the cosmetic stuff doesn't really matter as much. But it is kind of nice just to have, and you do, depending on which fire you're using, you can level them all up individually and unlock more stuff individually, so there's replayability there. But there's also just a nice variety of modes. I mean, they have casual and ranked, which is something Smash can't even do, right? And within those options, they have free-for-alls. They have what they call Strikeout 1v1, where each stock against someone is a different character, so it's almost like a Marvel vs. Capcom dealio, kind of. They have a 2v2. They have experimental 1v1 called Test Lab, where you can basically go try things against real opponents online, which is something that I kind of wish like the training mode in Smash would do. It's an interesting idea. And they also have, and this is one I'm very excited for, they have Kung Foot from Rayman.
That fan favorite one.
Is it a fan favorite?
I don't know.
I'm a fan. It's my favorite, so I guess so. But yeah, I like this trend of fighting games randomly sticking sports into them. Like ARMS does it with hoops, ARMS does it with v-ball, and now we have it with soccer with Kung Foot. I mean, all you do basically is there's two teams of two, and there's a soccer ball. Instead of just attacking each other, you're also trying to hit the ball onto either side of the map, and that's it. But I don't know, I liked it. It's a little more casual friendly. It's adds variety, and they're doing like an in-game event for it right now. And yeah, I like one game. I tweeted the other day, I think my favorite video game subgenre at the moment is sports games hidden inside fighting games.
Or just other games.
Yeah, and Kung Foot just nails it.
Like I thought it was interesting when during the summer Overwatch had Lucio Ball, which is basically just soccer, but everyone was playing as the Lucio character because his gun is like a giant speaker, so you're just pushing the ball towards the goals.
Yeah, like that sort of stuff is fun. Like the game within the game is always fun. So I mean, like Brawlhalla is pretty fun, and you know it's free to play, so it's worth just checking out. But Kung Foot, like I found myself playing that more than the core game, which was kind of after a while, which is funny. Like the core game's fun, but I just really gravitated towards Kung Foot. So yeah, that's kind of Brawlhalla. I mean, it's free to play, so it's not like we need to be like, you should spend your money or you shouldn't. Like, check it out. It's worth, if nothing else, it's a good way to spend some time waiting for Smash Bros. Yeah. Kind of primes you for it.
Definitely.
But it gets to be something. I will say one little nitpick, and this is true of Brawlhalla, it's true of Fortnite, it's true of Rocket League. I don't like this whole thing of console games having main menus that look like they're taking off a PC.
Yeah, make them
like I don't know why they all do that.
I don't like having to figure out that like, oh, mine is access that tiny menu in the
top and like why is the key for what the buttons do the size of like an ant? Like it's just, especially when you're playing in handheld mode, it's so tiny. Like fix that. All those games are great, but if all of you fix that, you'll just be so much better. And I think we'll leave you with that, unless there's anything else.
No, that's pretty much it.
You managed to sneak in 3 games that I didn't even know you were going to talk about.
That's why I said everything I wanted to say.
I know. So I guess we'll be back Thanksgiving weekend with our full impressions of Pokemon Let's Go. That's our next episode, plus all the latest news and more.
I guess just out of curiosity, what are your thoughts on potential Shrek reboot?
Apparently they're keeping the voice cast, but they're just changing the art style.
Keeping Smash Mouth.
You know, somebody once told me that it's not a good idea to keep Smash Mouth unless you want it to become a meme. And then the world was going to show me, and I'm waiting for that to happen. So maybe the movie will be.
Well, you ain't the sharpest tool in the shed, so I don't know.
Wow, we went 3 lines deep. That is 2 more than expected. So you know what? Let's just end on that wonderful note. So the new episode with Pokemon Let's Go and everything else, it'll be up on November 25th, which I know it's a busy time. That's Thanksgiving weekend. So the best way to ensure you don't accidentally miss it, you can follow us on Twitter at Ram10. You can subscribe to us on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, Stitcher, TuneIn, Pocket Cast, Talknado. Only one of those is fake. I'll let you figure out which. It's the last one. But you can find us on all those. You can also follow us individually on Twitter. I am JSR7. He is Wero, WEIRO _O. And yeah, it does it pretty much. So now we're going to spend the rest of our night completing the lyrics to All-Star, I assume.